Welcome, everyone. We are here. It is time. It is the $5,000 WSOP Championship final table. It's a big one. You know it's big because we got a big guest commentator. My man, Ali Nejad, is in the building for this one. Ali, how are you?
Yo, I'm good, man. Great to be here. Obviously, this is putting the cherry on top of a great WSOP online series. GG running, as always. Plenty of enthusiasm for it, and know where I'd rather be, my man.
Yeah, this is big stakes, big prizes, big players. We're gonna get to see all that and more. The culmination of this WSOP online series. We're gonna take a look at all the accolades of the players. 33 bracelet events, $250 million guaranteed, Ali, in about just over a month period. That is a ridiculous guarantee that has been offered. And I mean, I don't even know. I don't think I've ever heard of something that ridiculous of an online series. And today, 28 million in the prize pool up for grabs. And this final table, the lion's share that is available. We're going to be playing to a winner today as we see the 5K WSOP online main event. This is not the GGMillions. This is a special event today on Tuesday. As I said, we got Ali in the building. You know it's a big one. We got a very cool continental free roll as well, Ali. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but essentially you're going to want to root for the country, or the region, we should say. It's broken into 4 continental regions, and you will be assigned to one of those 4s based on your nationality and where you are located. And in any of the 33 WSOP online bracelet events, that is just taken place. But I think this is number 28. There was some other events that took place after, but the final event is today, the final table of event 28, although there were 33 events. And there's a look at who you're rooting for in the color coordinated sections of the world. If you are from this area, this region, you're going to want to root for that particular player or players, as there is a $2 million free roll, I believe, at stake if your player were to win. So it looks like Europe's got a little advantage on everyone today, Ali, with 5 participants. The other regions have 4 total, but either way, it'll be a sweat. And I know Bert Stevens is leading the way. He's a draft ganger, you may be familiar, big Twitch streamer now, and pretty big personality. Have you ever seen any of his content, Ali? Some of his
I have not. I've heard the name plenty. I'm too busy making content on my own, like you, sitting in the booth most of my life, so I can't really soak up a whole heck of a lot. But it's nice to see guys who are on both sides of the fence. You know what I mean? Obviously, you yourself, a player, you've got a resume on you, and then you transition over to content. A lot of guys playing, doing content, and proving that, you know, it's not just a matter of those who create the content can't really hack it as players, but in fact, the other way around.
Absolutely. It is exciting, and I'll tell you, it's worth a look because his Twitter's pretty crazy. He's literally on like a farm. He's got goats in his room playing. It's a different vibe over there, Ali. I think you dig it. But 28,609,250, again, just an absolute insane prize pool. Might be a record. I don't want to say officially, but I think it is. It's a $5,000 buy-in, and that is a very healthy purse. As you see, the first prize, $2,783,000. Everyone guaranteed $250,000 today. Locked up. ICM, of course, always final tables is something to look at, and this is big prizes with 9 remain from 6,023 in a 5K. I mean, that's almost as big as the actual WSOP main event live. So pretty astounding numbers there, Ali.
Yeah, completely insane. That first place prize, by the way, I just did commentary on a $300,000 buy-in event, and our first place prize here in a 5K, bigger than that one.
Yeah, it is crazy. And there it is. Look at the man. We were just talking about Giraffe Ganger with a giraffe and blue lipstick on. I mean, the man's chip leader. He's doing something a little different than others. 103 big blinds, leading the pack. Other players with some healthy stacks, and of course some short stacks. And we're just going to dive right into the action and see what's going on here, as we will play to a winner today. You get to know. I mean, I will say there's only a few players that I am very familiar with. Ramiro, who has won, I believe, 2 GG Super Millions titles, and Bert Stevens, who we mentioned, who is the chip leader, also has won several GG titles. But some of the other players a little bit more unknown. We're gonna get to know them better, and I'll let you tackle some of these names. There's definitely some tongue twisters at this final table, but we are underway. We're into the action, and we see Bert Stevens going with the Ace Queen opening up. We're gonna see probably a wide range of opens. Ace Queen certainly a hand he is going to be opening, and he does get us underway with the first takedown of the day. So yeah, exciting stuff here today. And Austria well represented. Looks like 2 Austrian flags. They seem to always have representation on these big events and GGMillion events, and now the main here. So any other players you're familiar with, Ali? Have you recognized
not that I can tell you from the live streets. You know, for a second I thought Timoshenko might have been somebody that I had commented on in the past, but in fact, it is someone else. And I got to say, Europe heavy is the representation over here. You talked about it during the Continental Free Roll Factor. So obviously the players who have played at least one WSOP online event here have a real sweat in terms of getting into a free roll courtesy of these guys. The other thing I want to point out is just like stack depth. Jeff, as you look around, you're tempted to think, okay, 400, 800,000, you know, everybody's going to be uber short, but that's not the case. There's some play here.
Yeah, 6,000 entrants. And again, GG, we're biased, Ali. We're the newest ambassadors signing last year. So I don't think we'll say anything negative, but we don't have anything negative. Best software, best guarantees, best tournaments. The list goes on. And of course, great structure in a big tournament. That's what you expect. And as we see it deep in this tournament, there is a lot of play left. So we should get to see some pretty cool hands, not just all in or full. There's going to be some creativity. There's going to be some bluffing and all the good stuff today as we get to see Eric Bacher under the gun go ahead and open up ace jack offsuit 9-hand. A little scary, kind of the bottom of the opening range there. Does get that one through though, and yeah, not too many super short stacks. So I think we will get to see some nice play today.
Eric playing under the Dutch flag, of course. That's a nation that's given us some legendary talent throughout the years, going all the way back to a name that might not ring a bell for some of the younger guys out there. Marcel Lusk, the Flying Dutchman, one of the originals, the OGs. Noah Boken, a little bit after him, generationally speaking. And then the one that probably comes to the top of everyone's mind in terms of, you know, profile, Lex, right? Velhus. I mean, he is the absolute GOAT when it comes to content and actually, you know, being about it, not just talking about it.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, Lex also has some kids, and I know the laws kind of been complicated with the online poker and the part of the world he was in. So I know he had to kind of hop over borders and do some various things to make things more difficult. But yeah, you're right. I mean, definitely we see this part of the world, I think, has benefited a lot from some of the top content creators and in general, just the streaming and the YouTube and the Twitch and all these different things that have happened. It's good to see poker in such a healthy place right now. I think we're seeing that live and online. Just huge prize pools and a lot going on in the poker world.
It's not good to have queen high on the jack-6 deuce board against a deep stacked Dutchman who's got top pair here with the backdoor spades working. See that c-bet gets flatted. Now that spade draw shows up, but that's a card that's going to give Ramiro the gutter. See how he chooses to proceed with the second street of action being checked to him.
Yeah, it does pick up a gut shot. I mean, again, he's got a pretty tough decision here. Does he want to sort of wave the white flag? It's not too appealing just to try to hit a 10 or a queen, but I guess, you know, a lot on the line. There's also some shorter stacks than himself at this table, and the pay jumps are so huge. This is not an easy decision. You see that chess clock kind of winding down there, 14 minutes and 17 seconds. Everyone starts with 15 minutes. So that is something we have seen in the past where players run out of time in this format. So everyone's got a full clock right now, start of the final table, and you know, as at the moment, plenty of time. I like that though, Ali. Instead of the shot clock, you get like total clock. Some decisions take a lot longer than others, and then others, you know, you don't need to waste time. So I like this format, and interesting spot here. He does go for it, pairs the 9 with queen 9, and Eric does improve to a flush, although it's a 7 high flush. So big moment here for Ramiro. Stack ratio about 1. Tough
is
spot.
he going to try to bluff it, Jeff? 18 million, like you talked about, just north of 1 SPR right now, and that 7 of spades could be really leaned on hard. But of course, you don't want to shower yourself by going for something heroic here and being wrong. So you see the check back, a little bit too much showdown value, I think, in terms of the 9. He thought the check back here every now and again, winner. But of course, Eric able to take down a real big pot. That's a nice start.
Yeah, that was I mean, listen, I don't think he thought he had a winner. You're right. He did hit some showdown value. Would have been interesting on some other rivers. Would he have elected to fire to rip it in? But I mean, man, Ali, pay jumps are so big. You're talking about a 7-figure score, such in reach for so many of these players here today. Like, it doesn't matter how accomplished you are for a 5K buy-in when you're playing for 2.7 million, 9 left. Everyone's gonna pucker up a little bit, I think, right? This is a lot of money. This is life-changing money on the line today.
And $88,000 effectively is the pay jump right now on tap between 9th and 8th. So you just consider that in relation to the 5K buy-in. I mean, we're talking about a huge difference. So just sit back on the sidelines, especially if you're some of these shorter stacks, as the ICM pressure may not be taken into account by somebody else who does something savage, maybe makes a misstep, that can be very profitable. So we'll see who's doing what out here early going. But Stevens, I mean, look at this dynamite flop with the flush draw, then gets there both ways on the turn after the check back from Ramiro, who's right back in there, taking the L in that last pot. The queen 10 suited, really just in no man's land here. I gotta say, I like a check from Stevens here on the turn, just because you could induce Ramiro to maybe try to rep the ace, but instead he comes out betting, maybe hoping that Ramiro did hit the ace and he can milk him for a couple streets. So not a great start for the man from Uruguay.
Yeah, getting some tough hands too. He's getting sort of playable hands, but yeah, it's here we go. Nines also obviously going to be playing first to act. Doesn't look like he's got too much adversity behind him, but still, like, yeah, it's kind of one of those things. You don't mind staying out of the way early on in final tables, let some people collide, and he is off and running, playing the majority of the hands. You want to do a little dinner wager, Ali? Next time you're in Florida, I'll be in Vegas. We could do a little draft, snake draft, maybe get the audience involved. You in for that?
Snake draft. Okay, walk me through it again.
All right, so I'll let you choose red or black. Throw the flop. Who gets to go first? So then first, you can either choose, if you win the flop, right, for red or black, you can either go first and get first pick, or go second and get second and third. And then we just alternate the rest of the way, picking a player. And then whoever wins, me or you will owe a dinner wager. We're going to give something to the audience too if you're up for it. We'll do a $100 giveaway for the audience.
All right.
We'll have your side and my side, and then we'll do a giveaway at the end of the show on top of our dinner wager. If you're up for it.
Get my little notepad here.
Yeah, you might. I've seen there's been some poor picks before. You can take your time too on the picks. You can look around, make sure you get the stacks right. Check their resume, which we have notes on. So yeah, this is serious. This is a nice dinner. I know you like fine wine and good good cuisine. So I'm willing. I know this isn't a Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out Vegas stop. This is legit. So if you're up for it, I'm in. I'm in for a dinner.
And also in is Stevens here. And when the chip leader starts leaning on you, this is not a good feeling, especially with the ace-3 off. And you can see Fabian just relinquishing, understandably, to that 3-bet. And Stevens has a nice little setup here in terms of that ICM, Jeff. When you look at the pay jumps that you talked about in the past and that massive stack that he has, the only guy, and it's perfect for him, that is really a threat is Eric, just direct to his right. So if Eric, got to tread cautiously here, folds a hand, he can really start to get after it and put pressure on the middling stacks. But look at Eric just saying, okay, I'm just going to play 8-9 suited, running into the 2-10s. Timoshenko 17.7 right now with the blinds where they are. You could see the 3-bet potentially, especially from the button, and it's a jam. Worst 9 high, even as deep as Eric is, not the kind of hand that you want to be going into battle with in this spot.
The Dutchman, you never know. Yeah, you're right. That's not going to be a call, but that would be a little just too out of context. But yes, we've seen some wild stuff, I'll say, on these streams. And I got to say, the Fabian Open with ace-3 off is a bit ambitious when you have the chip leader who's so capable, so talented, and willing to battle. You happen to have a real hand, but the ace-3 off, I mean, he shows that he's not afraid either, trying to sneak one through. That is definitely.
I got to say, though, in terms, Jeff, of worst seat in the game right now, I think you got to give it to Rolly with both Baker and Stevens to his direct left and one over from there. I mean, your range is so narrow here to be opening pots, because you can expect that they're going to put pressure on you.
Yeah, and just again, to your point too, the other stacks are so tight, right? There's Ramiro 23 million, Yagan 22 million, Simon 16 million, Esquiel, if I'm pronouncing that right, with 29, Ezekiel, and then even Alexander with 21. So I mean, there really are like 4 or 5 stacks pretty bundled up, and as you see, the pay jumps so massive in the lower left of your screen there. The difference between, I mean, we're talking fifth is almost $1 million, top 4 over $1 million, and the jumps, as you said, 88K right away. So lot to play for, and always fun. Who's going for it? Who's sitting back? And we get a mixed bag. So it is exciting, and one of the biggest purses you're going to get to see online ever. I mean, this is it, 2.7 plus to first place. A very, very healthy healthy prize pool.
Shout out to the rail, by the way. I see the guys in the chat right now, everybody joining us from wherever in the world you might be with whatever sweat you might have, whether it's continental free rolls, a little piece, a friend, or just, you want to see where your chips ended up. If one of these guys might have showered you on the way to this final table, glad to have you with us, obviously. And this one, it's not going to go by all that quickly, Jeff. We were talking at the onset of coverages. You see the ace king getting the 2 10s into the mug for Ezekiel. He does not want to tussle with Stevens here, and obviously it was kind of a flippy situation there. But Hoffner, the opener, he's going to lay down the ace-5.
Everyone starts pausing at home. Ace-5 suited. It's sort of the one where you can retaliate, but it's different. Chip leader again. Prize pool so big, and you're under the gun. He's attacking. Probably not going to go super out of his way to attack under the gun raising. I think Simon might have jammed if it was just the open from Bart, knowing that. Bert, that he knows that how wide he's going to be opening, and that might have got all in. But with the raise under the gun, the 3-bet, it just shrinks up a lot to shove your 20 blinds in that spot. But it's pretty close. I think queens would go in, jacks would be close. It's a tough spot for tens still.
You see Eric with a couple of deuces just trying to get into a pot here, and Stevens, he doesn't know that the guy's woken up with real hands here on multiple occasions when making these 3-bets. He had ace king, now he has ace queen. Gonna make the call with these 2 deuces. The deuces are still good, but note that out of position without a set on the board, 11.7 million in the middle. Stevens can sneeze at this one with a C bet, and Eric just has to let go of so many hands.
Yeah, got the ace queen off. Such a hard hand to play. That flop's actually not bad. You got the 2 overs, some blockers. If some straight cards come in, you could get creative. A diamond key card there too. So nice hand. And a Bert is up to 100 million. Really, just cleanly, coolly, very, very, very smooth up to 100 on the dot. That's got to feel good. Starting stack, and you got 100 million in the biggest online event of the year, and you have a good seat, as you mentioned too. Just direct left. Eric's got 73 million. So a lot working for the man right now, the streamer out there. And again, Ali, do yourself a favor, make a note, check that out, check his Twitters out, check his stuff out. I mean, he's literally on like a farm, I believe in Belgium, or he's from Belgium, has like goats, feeds his goats, walks you through it, he's really got like a rustic lifestyle out there, just really takes it all in and having himself a moment. And he is getting some hands, Ali. He's getting ace king suited, ace queen to start us off, 3-betting. I mean,
trouble, by the way, for Hoffner, Jeff.
Spot for Lucas, who's got a real hand. You got to think your hand's good against the chip leader, just going to town, opening to every hand.
Exactly. He's 3-betting. Look at the VPIP so far for Stevens. Everybody expects that this man is going to be doing this with not a lot of hand. He doesn't need to have a lot of hand. Pay jumps where they are, ICM pressure where it is, stack distribution as it is. He can just take the Warhammer out, and yet he's got real kit. As you see the ace-queen flatting now, Eric joins the party with the 3-4, which is actually the best hand on this 8-3 deuce board. I'm real surprised to see him make that call, but yet here he is. And this is a board texture that Stevens has to rest assured hasn't hit Hoffner or Baker. Now maybe Hoffner flats with some pairs, but you can still attack because the bigger pairs would have 3-bet you pre.
Yeah, you're right. I think Lucas also, though, he would have to be so tight here with like 10s or jacks. I don't know if he's going to even 3-bet just because of the situation, how valuable his stack is. So interesting, but both players call, and Baker's showing us he's willing to battle. 3-4 off defend, definitely a little out of line. I guess he is, closing the action. He's deep, and he does close, but he's in the lead right now. He actually has a pretty decent board going for himself, and I don't think Lucas is going to want to be shooting into the flat with Baker there either. So this is an interesting spot. Can he win with the 3-4 off? I don't know. I mean, it could go checked around. It's a matter of Bert wants to take a shot, but I don't think he is actually with this exact action.
No, it seems like it would be a bad spot at this point. Never know, though. Now he's going to get snug. And I think the ace-queen's happy to check back here, thinking maybe it's got some showdown value. Could target the big blind, potentially, because it's credible for a barrel to come in here from what was a pocket pair before the flop.
Wow. There's a lesson
dirty.
On equity, realizing right there. I mean, Baker just hangs in there with the 3-4 off versus 2 of the biggest stacks at the table. So again, maybe indicative of what we'll see today. Some battling, people putting their chips out there, playing for pots, and A nice pickup there from Bacher. Big pot. He's hanging right with Bert now, close to the
Yeah.
chip.
Although predictably somewhat, the two of them are the ones that are surging because they're the guys that are deep enough to give everyone else fits. That said, Hoffner, ace queen suited, where's he going to go? Look at the blinds he's attacking, though. This is so scary. And you see Eric with the king jack suited. See how he decides to proceed. A flat, 9 deuce, not enough. And swing and a miss in both camps here. 10 of diamonds interactions for Lucas are nice. If he wants to c-bet.
Yeah, King Jack suited definitely a hand that could get aggressive pre-flop. Does also play well and does flat out of the small. And Ace Queen, as we see, it's a difficult hand to play. It's so hard to make a pair and hold them. And here he is going to continue firing. King Jack suited, though, he's defending 3-4 off. This flop does have potential. A lot of back doors, could get creative even here. Does peel one off and a 10 pairs on the turn. So Ace Queen still comfortably in the lead. Has to be a little worried with that flat call, right? He's going to represent a lot of pairs, suited broadways. And when he does call the flop, I think Lucas has a decision now if he wants to keep telling a story or just kind of slow it down.
Now, obviously, last pot, Eric was closing the action out of the big blind with that 3-4 offsuit. But the fact that he showed up at showdown with a hand like that leaves Lucas wondering how wide his flatting range is going to be. And with this ace queen suited, he's happy to check back and then bluff catch potentially, although we'll see whether or not Eric wants to barrel at this one. King high feels a lot like it needs to make a bet and not end up being shown ace high here if it wants to lay claim to this 8 million. And
It goes
half
for
pot.
50% pot. I mean, this is very close. It doesn't feel good if you're Lucas. There aren't too many hands. You do beat all those suited broadways. That's what it is. All the suited Broadway combinations that miss. Jack Queen, King Jack, King Queen suited. This is close. You know,
He's blocking though with that queen, right? And that's a little bit of the problem. But does he think that in the flatting range is some of what's out there? And apparently we got our answer as he lays down the winner. So that was tough. And you see the power of the big stack here as Bacher narrowing the gap there with Stevens.
Yeah, nice bet, nice play, and does take it down. Great point about the queen. I think, you know, an ace 5 suited, it's just a little bit nicer to call there, right? Than having the queen. You sort of block all those hands we're talking about that are bluffing.
Sure.
But you know, ultimately a nice bet, good play from Eric, and he is running a bit of muck right now. He's got 90 million. Doesn't open the 9-7 off. I think that's close. Again, respecting the chip leader, even though he's out of position on his left, and then maybe just kind of the jamish stack that might just rip on you as well, the 20 million there. So Eric showing he's willing to battle, but also not just going blind aggression as well. He's showing some discipline there.
Stevens will take that one down. How about queens now for Bacher?
Yeah, no real hands to battle back here. He may just raise, take down. I guess the big blind could defend. It's pretty close. He does have 40 big blinds, so that's Jack 9 off, closing the action. If that's how it goes, definitely a consideration. Ali, red or black? Are we going to do it? A little dinner wager, get the audience involved?
Yeah, I like it. Let's wait for the next one because obviously we don't want to see the whole cards. I'll take black for first pick. You take red next. Not this flop, but the one after this.
Got it. I like that. I like that. You know, it's a serious dinner when we're taking card removal into the flop right there. You know, yeah, you're thinking big dinner. I know you, Ali. That's fine. We'll keep it legit. That's good. We're gonna wait next flop, guys, and you're gonna be involved. It's gonna be $100, $50 or $100 giveaway. We're gonna select players, and then we'll put you guys on a team to root for that. And this is actually what's a big deal. You know, close action, Jack 9 off. What could go wrong? Well, you could flop top pair on a paired board and be basically drawing close to dead. Needs a jack or a jack only, and it's going to be hard to get away here. Curious if Eric will go 2 or 3 street hand here, depending on his sizing. We'll find out. I mean, pretty good hand to go 3 streets, I guess, but
100%. You're not worried about 6x being a part of the equation for the Argentine, you know, especially with the shorter stacks than his own out there. You know, there's 4 of them, 5 of them. Exactly. And then you look out at the prize pool on your left and the way it shakes out, there's no reason for him to be really calling. He's got
this is a tough spot. I mean, look, you call here, the pot is massive and actually a very disciplined fold, probably in a vacuum, a bit exploitative to fold there, but in the moment, it is a great fold. And he has saved himself a lot of chips in a really tough river decision, as he is going to preserve his stack. And above the rim, Ali, or a little too tight. Either way, it worked out well for him in this.
I'll tell you what,
this.
If you're going to square off with one of the big stacks at the table right now, when you've got 5 shorter stacks than your own with a hand like Jack-9 offsuit from the big blind, granted it was a cutoff open, I think you need to be disciplined enough to make a read and then lay down like that. Now, obviously, it feels like you're giving up too much equity, but as we can see, he was right. So, it's good to not go down with the ship. And in that spot, he saved himself heaps, because that call on the turn, if it comes dry on the river, there's no reason to not try to pick off an ace high, because that Eric's going to be bringing the heat.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, I guess he's playing it a little more like a set. That you've been in the cash games. You call, like, I'm only going to play if I play 5s and I flop a set, and then it comes like 9-4 deuce. Bet you got to call, and then all of a sudden you're in the turn and you're guessing. And that is, I think, how he plays. Like, look, if I hit a straight, if I hit 2 pair trips, I'll play a big pot. But in a dicey spot, I'm willing to make a laydown that may not be right. And he, in that moment, kind of got away well. So nice decision, worked out well. And Eric is actually tied now effectively for your chip lead, having himself a nice start with a tough seat. So yeah, I mean, look, Ali, these things you wonder, can they take a long time? They also can go fast. Like here we see 2 big stacks, and some of the other people are getting pretty short. And if it gets too jaded, too forced out of the way, I mean, some of these short stacks really can get handcuffed, where they just kind of fold and blind down. You start having to make tight folds with 10s. We already saw 10s get boxed out of the pot as a short stack. So this is
Wow, did you see this? I mean, this is remarkable. This is the short stack, oddly enough, leveraging the fact that it's short and narrowing its range, making itself look way stronger than it was. It's the sense that Stevens is going to be opening super wide. I know that. I'm going to look extra strong if I'm willing to 3-bet out of the big blind as a shorty against the big stack like that. And so he took the 10-3 suited and just put a situational read on it. Nice 3-bet, nice timing from the member of the Chinese delegation. A lot of talent coming out of that part of the world too, Jeff. We've seen it overseas. Triton Super High Roller Series, one of the places where a lot of that Chinese talent shows up, and they've made their mark. And unfortunately, so has this flop on these pocket 10s for Ezekiel, as Eric's King Queen hops in front. Checking it over to the Argentine. This is a weird one. You don't want to just check back. 10s are still pretty nice here. So you see the little, just a C-bet, nothing too big size-wise. Let's see if Eric wants to leave him a little bit of rope, let him maybe work his way into a 3-street situation. It's obviously, I think now with the 3 on the turn, got to be worried about some of that ace X. Maybe you try to bet. Deny equity. What do you like here, Jeff, after you got the peeler on the flop?
I think generally in those spots, it's nice you bet small and get to get a free river card. You kind of see where you're at and decide what to do there. I think that's like pretty standard spot to check back. It is the problem with the check back though is you then don't set the river price, right? If you bet kind of smallish and get him to then check the river, now you might see a 6-7 million bet, sort of a bigger bet, and now you kind of are guessing a bit more. Where if you had bet like 2.5 or 3 million there, maybe you get him to just check the river and you get to a cheaper showdown. So this is not an easy spot. He does have a 10 of spades as well. But yeah, sort of in his mind, I think it's a matter of Queen X or not.
And
tough
it's
spot.
important.
I don't think he can. It's tough, really tough call.
It's important what you just said, though. Great laydown there from Ezekiel.
Yeah,
that's not the first time he's done that against Eric, who might feel pretty shortchanged when he realizes what happened here. Now a big one for Fabian. Just to put a button on that last one, though, note that the sizing he faced on the river was bigger than the sizing he would have come with on the turn. And if Eric would have flatted and then checked again because he'd been facing 2 streets, it's that much that Ezekiel potentially is able to save and get to showdown instead of potentially fold a winner in that spot. So food for thought there.
For sure. And also there was a black flop. I believe you had black, correct?
Yeah, I did. Yes. Nice.
So
okay.
You got that. So look, you can choose now. You can go first and get first pick, or you can choose I go first and you get second and third. So like either you can choose if you want first pick or second and third pick right now and then we go
Okay,
at
so
one.
if
And then
I pick first, you get second and third. If I defer, you pick first, I get second and third.
yeah, and then we just one all the way the rest of the way.
Okay, no, I'll take Stevens first. Obviously, you're going to take Backer.
Okay. Yep. So okay, you got Bert, man. All right. That yeah. So nice. So you get. I will then take also. I'll go with Lacus. I'll go with the Lucas with the
Yep.
chips. It's that's I got Eric and Lucas.
Okay, yeah, I like Lucas. That seems to be a good pick. I'm going to take Ezekiel, not just for the chips. I've just watched him do a couple of nice things right here. Obviously, there's some options in that 20-ish million range, but I like Ezekiel next. Do I take fourth and fifth?
Nope. We're just now it's
Okay.
one the rest of the way.
Okay.
One the rest of the way. I'll go Ramiro. Experienced GG million titles, playing a great brand of poker. Not a great start today, but still he's sitting in the he's right in there. He's in the mix.
Okay. So you took Ramiro. Yes. I'll take Timoshenko.
Okay, Timoshenko. I will go. I'm gonna go with Yagin. Like the aggression,
Good.
like the willingness to go for it. Yeah,
That's a
I'm gonna
good
go with
pick.
my man there.
That's a good pick. I'm not mad at you for taking that pick, especially after what we just saw here. Pretty straightforward one between the blinds, the big stacks, Stevens, top pair here. So we still have Simon Wilson available and Fabian Rowley. Let's
Yep.
see. Take a look. A little bit of homework here.
What dinner are you thinking about, Ali? I mean, you're in the notepads. You're checking Hendon mobs. Like, what do we got? Where are we going? What's on? What do we?
I
Should
gave
we
you
establish
Yagin Lee there, by the way. That was a layup. Man's got game. I think I gotta take Fabian last there.
All right, you know what? Since there's still 9 left, we'll make Simon is not for either one of us. That's just
Okay.
for the audience. That's a bonus.
4 and
So
4.
I got 4. You got 4. We'll leave it
Okay.
at that. This is real
Yeah.
stakes wager. So let's make it as fair as we can. And then the audience, if one of Ali's 4 win, you get 50. If one of my 4, you get 100. So that's what you're rooting for at home. Is one of the 4. We're gonna divide you a bit here, and then we will also have a. I don't know if we have a hands up giveaway today. I haven't heard that. You do that for the Super Millions? Let me get word on that. But I have a $50 Twitter retweet available on my Twitter, Ali. If you want to take part, you're eligible for the 50 as well. If you win, I'll double down and give someone else it. But that is a live now tweet. And we have also got this for you guys. At the end of the stream, we'll have a keyword and it'll be 50 or $100 giveaway. So at least 2 giveaways today. I'm not sure about the hands up. I'm going to check on that for you. I don't think that is available today. It's a jackpot every week on the GG Millions. That was progressive. Someone actually hit it, I heard. So that is, after a lot of weeks, someone did win the jackpot. So that is actually reset. And I got to find out if we are doing that still right now. I don't see it in the pinned YouTube chat. Hello to YouTube, by the way. Let us know where in the world you're watching from. Ali is in the PST time zone, I believe in Vegas. I am in Miami, and we welcome all of you all over the world. This is a very international event. And of course, the $2 million continent free roll, Ali. We mentioned it. Be aware that there is some up for grabs depending where you're situated, your region for GG. If a player from your region wins, you will be eligible automatically for that free roll. So you are rooting for your geography here. I think you're up with the predominant 5 slots out of the 9. There's a Mediterranean, I believe it was Latin America, and then there is what else? It was Asia, Latin America, Mediterranean, and then the Americas, I believe. Is that right? Or am I missing one? Mediterranean. Yeah. There's 4 regions.
Americas, so, Mediterranean, Asia, Europe.
Okay. Yeah, Europe stacked right now, also with the chips stacked up. So Europe, if you're Europe, you want to pay attention closely. Yeah, look at that. I mean, they got the chips 1, 2, and 3 right now. Don't want to say it's over, but yeah, don't go to sleep. If you're in Europe, you might want to stay tuned for the free roll details because it is looking decent for you right now with 250 million chips just across those top 3 players alone right now, just about. So that's a nice start there as we see Bert going with the ace-3 off on the button. Got some USA people in the chat. Maine. When is US poker fully legal again? Are we going to get to see it? I mean, a decade ago, We're talking about it. Doesn't think. I mean, is it going to happen? Do we have? Is it grandkids for us? When is it?
I mean, obviously, state by state legalization is happening, and clearly the big operators like GG are trying to make inroads, do what they can to usher in the legislation. It is so silly to have the legalized forms of gambling that we do here in the United States and then online poker not being allowed. But I got to tell you, there's a lot of resistance. I want to be an optimist. I want to say, sometime in our lifetime. But if you would have told me that this far removed from Black Friday, which we're looking at a decade plus ago, we still wouldn't have legalized international borderless online poker in the United States, I would have told you were crazy. And yet here we are. So fingers crossed, but it still could be a minute.
Yeah. I just, you never would think it would take this long, but there has been some major progress. Michigan, Pennsylvania, sort of major states that we do see things happening. There's talk of other major states, so there is some form of progress. But I'll tell you what, Bert just can't help himself and does attack a guy. I guess probably a note on this guy. Saw him open ace-3 off, maybe from some play down the stretch in this tournament, because to attack and open off of this stack depth just means he thinks he's willing to open super light. And honestly, eights is like a little too good, but it's not super
I think he
fun
might
to
jam
rip
it.
in eights either.
I don't think he wants to flatten play this out of position against a hyper aggressive Stevens. I think he just rips this one with the V
it's for
staring at
I think
Stevens.
Rip or fold, and I'm just saying it's not a super fun spot to rip it, and he does get the result he wants. No showdown, picks it up back to 23 million, puts him back in the conversation. And Simon Wilson and Alexander very short all of a sudden. The blinds have gone up 501 million, and they are in a bit of a dire straits all of a sudden as they have separated themselves to the lower portion of the field right now. But are you like that 3-bet? Do you think, Bert, do you think that's a bit exploitative? He just thinks this player is going to raise fold more often. I mean, it's so much pressure on the player. You are making him shove or fold in that spot.
I mean, I think at this point, Bert should recognize that very few are going to be willing to pop their head up out of the sand without a hand that can at least flat, if not 3-bet, jam off of a stack depth like the one that Fabian brought into that last pot. And I think it's obviously you want to lean on the middling stacks, but these shorter stacks, I think you just kind of respect that their opens are going to be in line with the kind of stuff that isn't going to concede to these 3-bets. And I think his table image is a little compromised right now, Jeff. As we saw earlier on, he actually had it. But, last few times we've seen the 3-bets come in, it's been with lighter kit than in the past, as we see your man, Yagen Lee, trying to steal this one with 9 high, blind v blind, dominated pre. Let's see what the King 9 has in mind. Ramiro. Wow, making a play.
Ramiro got I'm telling you, these guys got notes. They know what's going on. Yagen just makes a pretty aggressive play that would work, you would think, most of the time based on the situation and the holdings. But Ramiro just says, you know what, I'm going to see where it check your temperature, and not working. Not going to get away with one there. So nice bet and better raise.
I'm really impressed with the spots that we've seen people take a dusty hand and actually go to work with it here. I mean, it takes a lot of moxie to make these sorts of plays without question, because, it's that ICM be damned kind of vibe. And then everybody's looking at you going, well, of course he's not ICM be damned. This has got to be real kit. And so you're able to kind of leverage that landscape and chip away, chisel away, pick up pots here and there. It's so important. Bad stuff here for Bakker. 9's going to open into both 10s and jacks.
Whoa. Wow. I mean, this could play out a few different ways. If you're our Argentinian friend right here, you don't love that it's under the gun. You do love that it's the chip leader that is a little out of line. And now with the flat, Fabian gets a kind of a tough spot, but actually such a good spot as we get to see the cards, whether he wants to, I mean, calling just doesn't feel right? But no. Shoving kind of, you put it at risk. It is the chip leader. And then I think the 10s flatting, I don't think he thinks that he's going to flat aces or kings with so much money on the line. Look, you could say, yeah, you trap, but like, I don't think this is the time for it, right? You don't want to go multi-way to get too cute. Pay jumps are so big. So I think with that being said, he does deduct. And honestly, Tens has made, this player's made some tight folds. He folded the top pair. He got out of the way the other time in a tight spot. And here, I think he may find a fold as well. Calling off just doesn't feel so good.
But remember that it was a 3-bet jam against Bakker just a hand ago. Sometimes we have recency bias where you go, well, wait a minute. Back to back, you wake up with hands that can jam over here. Maybe you're squeezing. But as we can see, real kit. And yet again, Ezekiel impresses with his discretion in spots where he was in bad shape. You saw it with the Jack-9 against the Queens on a Jack-high board. Got rid of it on the turn. There with 2-10s pre-flop. That's a lot of hand, Jeff. But against that jamming range out of the big, he just decides best case scenario, maybe he's up against 2 overs to see all 5. And he's looking out there and he sees Timoshenko, Wilson, Lee, and he's saying, I don't want to bust before these guys. Let's just sit back. Let's fight clean. And he's right back at it here with an ace-jack suited. Rewarded maybe for the patience a pot ago. And he's getting 3-bet, by the way, by Hoffner, who's got the inferior ace on the button. Let's see how he reacts to this one. Sizing is such that it could allow him to continue, Jeff.
Yep. This is my man has had a tough go at the final table. He is getting all the hands that we know you got to play, but you're getting put in tough spots. The ace jack, the mid pairs, the upper middle pairs, they're very tricky to play. And it is not fun when you are getting put pressure on in these spots. That is yeah, nicely done. Lucas putting in with a very, very, very creative hand selection there to put pressure on with, and really showing the willingness to play for it. And a reason why he's in third with 45 million. This is a pretty crazy distribution of chips, Holly. We have 2 huge stacks. We have several very similar short stacks. I mean, there's like, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 players in a bucket, and then even the 10 million also you could put down there as like the shorter of them. So really it's sort of a three-part race here. We got 2 huge stacks, some very short stacks, and then sort of middling like the 28 and 45 million. But Eric and Bert are just hoping to kind of keep continuing to chip the others down and find themselves playing for a lot of money with a lot of chips. They've done a pretty good job not really getting each other's way.
Right.
There hasn't been too much aggression amongst themselves, but they have both chipped up very, very nicely.
Yeah, early on, Bert seemed like he was smacking Eric on the wrist a little bit for stepping up pre-flop, raising into him. But since then, I think there's kind of an agreement to stay out of each other's way. Now the monotone board, as Stevens correctly identifying that Bakker doesn't have a spade here as played, peels, and now Bakker with some showdown value in the form of the 8, but obviously he has to believe that he's up against a spade. Happy to check back his Stevens, and he'll take one, put a little bit of runway reduction between those two. Takes the chip lead, which is what he came into this one with. But as you pointed out, Jeff, they have both chipped up nicely here to start things. We haven't seen Simon Wilson play a pot yet, by the way. Note his patience. He understands that if he can find the right recipe pre-flop between a couple of these stacks, we could see him secure a nice little pay jump.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Bert has just gotten such great distribution right now, and he just flats here, just shows like respecting ICM, which makes sense, right? You don't want to, what are you going to make it, 9, 10 million? Just try to take it down, which is fine, but you also get called, get in a weird spot. Instead, just play a little post flop. I think he expects Eric to play pretty straightforward. Don't think there's going to be too much kamikaze going for it here, although Eric does connect with the board. Both players make a pair, ace queen in a pretty good sized lead, although 5 outs, 2 cards, and we do see Eric go for a stab here, just trying to fold out probably a lot of, you know, suited broadways, put pressure on 6s through, you know, 9s or 10s or whatnot, just to sort of see what's going on, see where Bert's at. And Bert does improve to top 2, although the flush does connect, it comes through on the turn. But again, I don't think Eric with this particular holding in this particular situation is going to really just decide to unload the clip. It's just no club in his hand. You know, it's possible. I just don't think this is the time to battle and with who to battle with.
No, and we just touched on the fact that these guys are not trying to tussle. And yet, here's the barrel, Jeff. This is showing a lot of moxie. Obviously, the ace queen's not going to go anywhere. Does need to be mindful of the fact that he unblocks the clubs. So he does flatten. That's a very clean river card for him. And now Bakker's built this one up to 22.3 million. And you see
Yeah,
Stevens happy
listen,
to
I'm a little
defer.
surprised on the turn. I think that makes some more sense, right? If your opponent doesn't have a flush or two pair, like what does Bert even do with ace 10 suited there? That's the question. Are you getting him to fold some non-two pairs? I guess you block two pairs. And hello, I mean, my man is going against the grain here, Ali. He is literally the exact thing we're saying is not happening. Does it? And Bert is going to just call him down and take a massive
Yeah.
lead. What a hand, what a pot, and a little bit surprised by Eric there, but he did go for it. And look at the lead, Ali. We're talking about 55 million between first and second. This is a runaway train all of a sudden, and direct position on Eric. If you got bets up, wagers on Bert to win this thing, he has officially entered a new situation. The odds are different now. This is a runaway at the moment. Wow.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that he took 3 streets at that one there. I mean, maybe imagine if it was just an ace on the river there. Now maybe it's a little bit more tough proposition. It's just that Stevens woke up with too much hand. He did block the king. I mean, I don't know. I don't like that bet on the river from Bakker. I understand, maybe you think you can target the ace and get it to fold in the face of a 3 street line, Jeff, but would you agree that was just a little bit too ambitious?
Yeah, I think, it's ambitious. I think, I don't love it, but at the same time, it shows that he's willing to go for it. And, I think he's going to get a lot of credit there. He is going to get non two pairs, non flushes, a lot to fold, put a lot of pressure on ace X. And, yeah, I mean, obviously we have a bias. We see the cards, but again, why? That's sort of my question. Why go and attack this guy in this spot? You know what I mean? He took a shot, small bet on the flop. He called, see a free, maybe 5-outer, which it wouldn't have been as he did turn top 2. But either way, right? Just like take a little stab, try to win it. You felt him out and now shut it down. But as again, still healthy, 73 million, got a decent lead on third place and didn't work out. And now Bert, look at him. 9-6 offsuit, Ali, licensed to fire. He is now officially, I think you're going to see the full clip. He's going to open up whenever folded to. It's almost any 2 situation. You got Bert, by the way.
I do have Bert, and I got to tell you, what Bakker just did, everybody else is face palming right now. Everybody else is shaking their head because when the two of them were kind of neck and neck, it kept a balance in the ecosystem of sorts, right? But it's just with impunity that Stevens can really begin to get after things right now. The setup is so nice for him.
This guy doesn't look like someone that is going to shy away. I was thinking if he maybe is going to fire in here and just go for a very vulnerable stack. Fabian has one of the most vulnerable stacks, right? That 26 million, because there are numerous shorter, very much shorter than him, and his stack is not super healthy in itself. But Eric does sit one out, takes a little breather with the queen 10 suited. I'm sure we would have seen Bert play that. He would have probably 3-bet or at least continued. So as it stands, though, it's still wide open, anyone's game. And it is again, though, your point, I think also it sort of makes everyone a little wary. Like, wow, these guys, the chip leaders are battling. It sort of reminds you that there can be collisions in different spots and people maybe sit back a little. And I don't think Simon has played a pot, actually. I don't know if he's gotten dealt in really for a situation. If he's gotten, maybe open king 9 on the button it was, or he maybe played, I think, one hand, but really hasn't got a chance to get active here. And he is getting short, 11 blinds all of a sudden.
So the king jack will be a little refund, but a lot of chips were passed to his left earlier, and he's got to be lamenting that. Now we're going to see Simon Wilson play a pot here. Finally wakes up with the ace king. Nobody's going to really be able to defend against this. What I imagine is going to be a jam with 11 bigs. Some work has been put in, by the way, on these 11, 12 big blind stacks. Some people will have some raise sizes here and then look to induce maybe someone to raise behind, especially when you're late in the cutoff. But no, let's just keep it simple. And that'll do it. And these pickups are super important for Simon, obviously, as he tries to keep his head above water, Jeff.
Oh, mystery hand, Ali. This one's you. You get to play this one today. You are ace jack off in the big blind, and you got the chip leader here opening. Let's see if there's any other interlopers, but as it stands already, pretty interesting hand. This is I feel like everyone's nightmare at home. You can feel the stress. It's 2.7 million to first, Ali. What are you doing here?
I mean, I'm certainly not putting it into the muck. It's only 1.1 million more to call from the super active big stack. And I want to be mindful of the fact that if I 3-bet, he could just come with a vicious 4-bet, and then I've got to lay my hand down. So I flat and I flop top 2 pair. This is amazing. Obviously, happy to check. And you know that Stevens is going to be repping this part of the deck, you know, regardless of what he's got. The C-bet feels like it's going to be coming in. Let's see what size he
Yeah,
goes
this is
with.
great point. This is a board that for sure Bird is going to be attacking. So now what, Ali? Are you check calling or are you just trying to take it down? Where do you go with?
The sizing is so small out of Stevens. We do have a lot of hand, but it's those Broadway combos that you hate, like a king, queen, or 10 to come off. So maybe you had an argument to try to check raise there, but you got so much hand. This is a super clean turn card for you. Once we've made the call, though, especially given the sizing that Stevens came with, I think you just feel as though the check back is going to be
Big
coming a
bet,
lot of
right?
the time
Here
on the
comes big
turn.
bet. There it is. There's the little bigger. Now, Ali, are you greedy? Are you just going with the textbook call here and let him walk the dog, or do you try to take it down?
I think I try to take it down right here. I don't like the fact that the hearts have shown up. I don't want some sort of tricky king, queen, or 10 card to roll off on the end. 27 million effective are the stacks. He just flats. Now this super clean river card. I wonder whether or not we donk this. Like half pot, try to target maybe a legit hand. He's going to be content to let Stevens sail off at it. I don't think Stevens is betting a lot of hands here on the river.
The
Jeff.
thing is, though, he can put so much pressure if he picks up like Queen 10, King Queen of Hearts. He can really put a lot of pressure on a one pair hand, even Ace X. So he happens to have like the nuts. I love the check, and he does unload the clip. I mean, Fabian, you would expect the snap call, but still, you got to take a second, right, and just think about what's going on. I mean, you can't fold. I don't think you
You're
can
calling.
fold, but
You're just
you're
calling.
scared.
Yeah.
What's he got? Ace 8.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. What a great
Wow.
river card for Fabian. Now, I'm not sure Stevens unloads the clip without the 8 on the end. I think obviously he's happy to check back at that point. And I'm actually a little bit surprised that he fired again on the turn, if I'm being honest, Jeff. It feels like maybe he can check back and then see what's what on the river. So that's the biggest misstep, if we can call it that, out of Stevens. Not so much in terms of decision making, but obviously in terms of chips lost in that pot. As we see, kings are about to run into ace jack here, and these are both your guys, Jeff, in the draft. So a little bit of cannibalism in this one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I don't mind how, I mean, obviously hitting the 8, he shoves. You're right. I think if it's a non-8 river, almost always he's just going to check back and hope he's good against Jack X or even a weaker ace. So as it plays, that is a very big swing for everybody, sort of levels things out a bit. And it is still, again, some very short stacks. I mean, it's very rare to see this, Ali. 16 million, 16 million, 13 million, 16 million, 15 million. There is just a row of similar stacks. You got 5 guys with almost the same stack for this amount of money. And here, Ramiro gets 3-bet. Lucas, we've seen the willingness to put it in with light, the ace 9 off, this time ace jack off. And of course, Ramiro's got the goods. He is going to surf it in. No point to get cute. A lot of money in the middle. Going to probably get called. Like it's just one of those things where you just, it's too cute to flat and too short to flat. Anyway, I don't think he really has a flat in range in the spot. So yeah, he does go on. The curious part is Lucas, who is now in no man's land. Ace jack off. He's sort of trying to see where he's at. He gets the notice that he's likely not ahead. And now though, it's getting sort of a math problem where it gets a little close though, a little bit. Although you can't.
I don't like it. I don't like it for another 13 million, Jeff.
Yeah, me neither. You just got to think if he has 10s, 9s, 8s, that's the unfortunate part. But you're just going to be smoked with kings, queens, ace, king, ace, queen suited. You're just going to be behind all those. So it sort of starts getting into that conversation. And then if you call, what's your price against the hands you're behind? You're calling what, another, 13 million. There's a lot out there. It's what, 30, that'd be 30, 39, 41, 42 million to call 13. So, I mean, again, the price to start, you start getting in the math talk, and he does talk himself into it for 39 million. Ace jack to kings. Ramiro is in a good spot through the flop, going to the turn. It is clean. The river, we all sweat this so hard, so often, the slow peel, and it is clean. It looks clean. That is a non-ace river, right? That's a 4. It's scary. That's similar looking to an ace, but it is clean. Ramiro is back in the game, and all of a sudden the things have changed. There's 40 million, 25 million, 60 million, 73 million, 97 million, and the blinds are up. And Simon, Simon, you are in the 10 blind territory, 11 blind territory, my friend. You gotta get moving. Yagen passes on the king 10 suited. Short stack, can't blame him. Some kind of getting too short, right? To now it's sort of just like a little cat and mouse. Who's got to put himself at risk first for those massive pay jumps? Fabian willing to play some poker, of course. King queen on the button will open.
I'm still thinking about that ace jack from Lucas. It feels as though he just settled on the idea that the 10s, 9s, and 8s were out there, and he was ready to just play for chips in that spot. It was obviously far better than that he ran into, but I think my ace jack hits the muck there. Meanwhile, ace 5 against the king queen. Obviously, when you're up against the chip leader, things can be a little bit dicey, but these checkbacks, Stevens knows that people are going to be willing to check back even good hands against him. So he can't just go blasting off with these ace highs, trying to lean super duper hard against guys, because they're going to be calling him down. If they're opening into those blinds with some frequency now, unimproved is the king queen. I think this one gets checked all the way down. If Stevens doesn't bet, feeling as though maybe he needs to represent, not going to be too worried about a hard draw, but if he doesn't think the ace high is going to be good at showdown, he could fire. Instead, he checks. Interesting spot here for Fabian.
Yeah, I mean, the 10, not a great card for Bert there. All of a sudden, some hands he's beating, he doesn't, but king queen does not go for it with the run out as taken, and nice, puts himself over 100 again. Bert does have the lead. It's a significant lead. Obviously, that pot did set him back some, kind of a cooler on the run out, but still healthy as a chip leader by 27 million still. So it's a decent amount.
Ace-6 suited, by the way, for the Irishman. You talked about him being in that 10 blind range. He's looking over at those blinds which are coming his way. Every now and again, this can look a little bit better than it is. He's going to run into aces if he rips it here. It would be such bad news. You know, this stall here makes me feel as though the rip is coming.
Wow.
It's just going to be an open sizing. And, you know, I touched on the idea that some guys will have some raised folds at this depth. Note Stevens, he might be willing to do what he thinks is racing against Simon. He could 3-bet this one up to cover Simon. And what a dream that would be for Timoshenko.
Yeah, I think he's just going to rip it all in, right? He's effectively just risking the same stack almost. It's like 13, 14, 15. Just rip it. And then obviously aces, hello, quite a dream. You see,
but no
open in front of you, plus a shove. And then Simon obviously going to get out of the way. So 9s versus aces with a lot in the middle. Alexander finds himself a little tank, little chess clock usage here, just in case. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I don't know if you even want the other guy, right? You're just happy to get like a double plus the extra in the middle. In the equity, you can be a 4-1 favorite. And we are going to see if we are going to still be 9-handed or not. 9s are going to be against aces. We haven't lost a player. We've been playing for a while. It's been about an hour, and it is clean on the flop. Has the backdoor spades covered to the river. 4.55%. Can he fade? And it is paint. That is clean. That is a double, and things are evening out, Ali. We had this two blowout stacks, and now they're sort of it's tightening up, and the payouts are still the same. 250, 339, 457. You're talking about over 200K if you can just get up to 7, man. I'll tell you, these short stacks, we're going to get to see a little bit of a Russian roulette here with these stacks coming around. The blinds are big, the stacks are short, and a few guys have doubled, though, put themselves in a whole different situation. As you see, the continental leaderboards, everyone's still available. 5 from Europe still alive, and I believe $2 million free roll available. So keep an eye on that for your region, who you're rooting for. If you do have a GG account, aces, they're just getting handed out now. Ali, this is
like candy. What a dream for Fabian. Note, by the way, at that 60 million depth, he is now 3rd behind those 2 chip leaders, but both of them direct left of him. They are aware that when he opens a pot, he's supposed to be pretty narrow. And obviously, seeing them both fold is disappointing. He knows that there's going to be some frequency with which they're going to apply some pressure. But now that he's got that 60 million, a little bit more respect being shown than perhaps earlier, because he can put a real dent into their stacks. And unfortunately for Fabian, it looks like it's just going to be a pickup of the blinds and the antes here. Better than nothing, but obviously less than what he was hoping for.
Yeah, I'm to be interestingly enough, just a few hands ago, we were talking about how many short stacks are. Now there's 3. There was 5. Now there's some healthy stacks. Ramiro's got 40. Alexander has 32. Fabian's up to 62. Lucas, though, did dip down, but now Simon and Ezekiel and Yagan are all on the chopping block, but everyone else is in pretty good shape. And honestly, man, Simon is it's tough here. You're gonna get a button open, and you got the ace, and you just keep folding, and it's just this doesn't feel right either. And he is behind it. And interesting though, Alexander takes away the opportunity for even him to jam on the open, but as it seems, I don't know what Simon would have done. Still might have folded to an open anyway.
I mean, he's only got the small blind, and then he's got a full orbit's worth of hands waiting on him. Plus, he's got Yagan and Ezekiel, like you touched on, down there in the gutter, so to speak, in terms of stack depth with him. So with those pay jumps, Jeff, he's willing to ride this one out. As raise and take it for the ace king of Hofner there. This could be one for Simon, by the way. Not sure if Eric or Ezekiel are going to open this pot.
I think Eric's got to open. He's just got too big a stack. There's so many short stacks. King Jack off. It's definitely, we've seen him open lighter. He's willing to play pots, and he does open, and he knows those 3 stacks really can't do much, right? He's going to get some slightly better hands to fold or close hands, and nice pickup there from Eric. I mean, as we said, these guys are willing to battle. There's people playing poker here. People are opening hands or defending 3-4 off. They're making some light 3 bets. So we're definitely not seeing just super tight play, but we are seeing a lot of aces, Ali. All of a sudden, they're really getting passed out.
This is an aces rich environment, my friend. 3 out of the last 5 hands, I want to say, aces have been dealt, and it's great timing for Ezekiel, of course. And note that, you know, off of these 10 big blindish stacks, you see the min raise open sizing, looking to induce a 3-bet jam behind. Ramiro, the big candidate perhaps for something like that, given his stack depth. But unfortunately for Ezekiel, no takers. As once again, the aces fail to get any post-flop action. Ace queen, the open here. A couple of other aces busy.
Yeah, Fabian, 10-8 offsuit. I mean, again, under the gun raise, just could defend there. Got enough chips, but I like it. I like folding this spot, man. It's just, there's so many short stacks. Like, let it find better spots. You know what I mean? Don't need to battle in every one. And here, that, just as we said, ace king suited now versus ace queen suited. And actually a very difficult spot if you're Fabian, because like in some respects, it's like, how can you not 3-bet? You almost have to. You're facing under the gun versus one of the only stacks that cover you. It's sort of not fun, but I would expect him to go probably like 12 million or something just really big to sort of say, hey, like I got this. But
you really don't want to invite Eric into the pot, Jeff. That's the thing, right? Because he's the other big stack. You're going to be out of position already. You don't want to be out of position against 2 players.
Wow.
But he does come with the flat, and I'm surprised to see it. You speculated that might be the case.
Yeah, I actually just thinking myself, like what I would do. And it's not fun, you know, like, cause you really are, your stack's so valuable right now. Really. Yeah. Do you want to just get in? What if he has queens? He's under the gun. What if he just flats you and he's got Jack 10 suited or, you know, pocket 8s and he does flat you and now you're out of position. It's a tough spot to play. I don't mind it. And the same time, Eric did show the 3-4 off complete. So you are sort of understanding you're likely going to go 3-way and just, you know, sort of, you're almost surrendering the fact to realize you're going to lose the pot a lot of the time like this.
Wow.
By a flop like this.
Just flatting in spite of the fact that he had ace king, which was the best hand, and the diamond interaction coordinated board there. You could see Stevens with the nut flush draw. He had a plan in that pot, Jeff. He decided he was going to flat unimproved. He was just going to get away from it there. And that's a lot of the ICM playing out before your very eyes right there. Normal situations, we 3-bet. And I think, you know, if they do 4-bet, you just end up in the spot where you're like, I got to go with my hand.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's the exact situation that would have happened. He would have 3-bet big. We would have seen that particular holding. Bert would not have folded. I don't think he's folding ace queen suited for a big raise, probably covering and in position. So then that flop would have come 2 clubs, 7, 8, 9. It's like one of the worst flops for ace king suited. He's going to lose 10 million, 12 million chips. The other side of it is it comes ace high or king high. and he's going to have his opponent kind of blasting in, maybe in really bad spot. What if it comes king 4 deuce and ace queen suited decides, oh, I wrap around the king, let me fire some streets and basically be drawing dead, right? So there is some other side of the coin on how it can be really advantageous as well. So I like it, a little higher variance, but also, I'm sorry, a little lower variance, but a little more risk to lose the pot. And that is what we got to see in that moment. But interesting, and does show you what considerations you should have, right? That there is not always, oh, I have this hand, I have to do this. You know, I need to make this play. I gotta go for it in this spot. So yeah, I think that's a very interesting hand, and one to look at, right? With your peer group, with your friends to talk about, because that is a pretty high intense ICM and interesting situation. So yeah, very interesting hand.
Very much so. You can see the chat also deliberating about that exchange. And you note that Fabian picked up an ace queen flop top pair, ended up getting back the chips lost in that one. One pot removed from there. Not to be too results oriented, as we see ace queen going to work once more, this time from under the gun for the Argentine. Bakker, respectful muck on the button there against the up front open from that short stack. King 7 suited here, Jeff. These are the cuspy kind of, you know, just on pure hand alone, we feel like we can call the extra 1.2 and take a flop, but you know, his situational setup, it's not the most comfortable. You expect Ezekiel to be narrow in his range. Now 2 hearts, 2 jacks, a deuce. Pretty much an air ball for Timoshenko.
Yeah, I mean, I do think you have to defend for the price. Also, you cover, you kind of look at worst case scenario, right? You got like 20 mil. If somehow you call, get it in, you get coolered, or you flop, you know, flush draw over situation. And also you got to think about what he's representing, sort of aces, kings. He's probably going to jam some of his, you know, 8s, 9s, 10s. So then there is the hands like this, ace, queen, ace, king, that, you know, he's dominated by some, but, you know, now interesting, checks back on this flop, and he's getting led into on a very wet board. So now ace queen in sort of defensive position, you beat a lot of hands here, but you're also going to get jammed on a lot of rivers that miss. So this is not a easy spot, and a well executed semi bluff on the turn from Alexander, who does go ahead and take the pot down with king high.
And Jeff, I think the problem is that when you flat on that turn, you leave yourself vulnerable to that third barrel, right? You checked back that board after being a pre-flop raiser. Granted, it was paired, but once, you know, Timoshenko barrels at us on the turn, we flat with this ace queen. The next barrel comes in and we're unimproved. What are we really trying to do with that particular hand? You're bluff catching, and, you know, Ezekiel's stack just not deep enough, especially when he's looking out at the other shorties to want to see 2 more streets. And I get it, you know, those pay jumps, man, they are tantalizing.
Big. A lot of buy-ins. You always look at jumps within buy-ins. Not only is it so much money, but it's a 5K buy-in. We're talking a ton of buy-ins. You're playing for how many main event entries into this for the next, you know, 20 years, what, or 18 years? It's whatever. It's 90,000, almost 88,000. So
right.
Yeah, it's a lot of buy-ins.
King queen, a lot of hand here. A couple of 6s and king 10 suited, rate to be the interested parties.
We're over an hour in, Ali. We have lost no players. I'm trying to think what we've had, what, in terms of all-ins for knockouts, maybe 1 or 2. I mean, it's not been a lot of all-ins. Definitely one we saw an all-in, the 9s to aces. I guess, no, another one too. Ramiro doubled, ace jack to king. So there've been a few, but not that many cracks at knockouts here, as some of the shorter stacks have doubled. And I'll tell you what, Simon, he is got a playable hand, but there's a raise, and this is not fun either. I think your risk premium so low, right, to call. I think you just have to call. You can't fold this particular hand, and, you know, I don't see the merit to go all in. You're getting called. You may want to just take a look at the flop and find a few that you might fold, but I think I just don't see how you can fold. And all in.
Yeah, look at what the pot's laying him right now. Direct price for 1.2. Granted, it's a lot of his 5.8 back, but
yeah. I'll tell you what, this is not how you drop the biggest spot of your life, to basically get dealt out. You know, not saying Simon's done anything wrong. He really has not gotten many favorable hands or situations, but now you're in the big blind with like 5 blinds, and you're facing a min raise, and you're just thinking, is this how it's going to go down? I'm going to call 1 big blind, hit a piece of the flop, and be out. Or do I take it through, have 5 million, get to go on my own terms? And it's close. I think, King 10 suited is a lot of hand though to fold here, closing the action. He is dominated, which is definitely a consideration. He knows against this position, this player, he is going to be in some bad shape, including this particular situation. He does flop and hello.
Oh.
Wow. Gets some help, but he is in trouble still. And queen of clubs, also one of the clubs gone, dominated with the king, but a big flop, and he does have equity. That is for sure, and he is not folding.
Yeah. Note that Hofner just comes with 1.2, by the way, which is interesting. And I wonder if Wilson's just going to jam over here. Obviously he's never going anywhere no matter what. So does he try to create some fold equity in the form of a check raise just in case Hofner's being cute?
Yeah, I think at this point, the argument would be, what if your opponent maybe has like 9s or 8s or something and just decides to, just really has no equity, and maybe, or just keeps betting. But at the same time, even in 9s or 8s, you wouldn't mind taking it down right now with extra 1.2. I think he'd roll the dice for the 2 outer with 2 to come. But at the same token, yeah, I don't think he can do anything wrong. He does put it in. And I mean, Lucas is going to go ahead and roll it in. He's got the best of it, but it's pretty close. Club or a 10, or else we are down to 8. As you can see, that it's about a coin flip here. No good on the turn. 60 million chips available. Slow peel.
Flip anymore.
Wow. Chop, right?
Yeah. Board pairs and they get to carve it up. How about that?
All right. No one's out still. We are an hour, 10 minutes into the show. We are still in. Simon actually threw the blinds again. Going to get a second shot. Yagin was sweating that one. He is also on the chopping block, as well as our friend from Argentina, all rooting against that player. That was a tough chop for 88 stacks for a pay jump. Simon's still in the mix. And you know how this goes, Ali. When you get that reprieve, and you're one, it's usually you get out, you get to at least jump, right? Like now he's like, it's like he's got other people might put it in, and these three, this is like who wants it more here. 6-7 suited, 7 high on the button. This is, wow, goes for it. Nice shove. That is a ballsy shove. That is a big shove. That really puts him in a different situation. He is double Simon now by making that move. So really nice shove, understanding that people don't want to call off, and it's going to force some decent, what's ace 3 do? What's king 10 suited do in that spot? So he does take the initiative and he does get it done. So well played. You said you like how he's playing. He's made some big folds, and then he shows us an aggressive move as well in a very high pressure situation to put it on the line. You got to tell your backer, your friends who has a piece, hey guys, yeah, I shoved 7 high on the button to be knocked out. But those are the plays. If you want to be in the tournament, you want to go for it, you got to be willing to make some aggressive plays to keep yourself in the game.
And now heating up is the chip leader, Stevens. He goes from ace king, raise and take it, to a couple of jacks. Simon Wilson, king queen offsuit against a guy who's super active, and yet he escapes by folding. Granted, 2 overs, who knows what would have happened, but Wilson obviously showing extreme patience over here. Now an ace 4 suited for Ramiro. And just to touch on Ezekiel a little bit more, expound upon that point. The Argentines show up for the main event, Jeff. Alejandro Lococo, Damian Salas. These are guys who know how to make deep runs. There's something in the water down there in Buenos Aires. 9 million. As we see, this is risky business for Ramiro. 3-betting, just thinking that Stevens is up to no good, and of course Bert rams it, and that proves costly for Team Uruguay.
I mean, yeah, this is very, very, very intense. And I mean, 8s here with Yagin, who showed us that super light thing. The thing is, now he's got no fold equity, but you are against a chip leader who's going to be having such a wide range. We saw 9-6 off open. I mean, I think you got to take it, although it's not fun when there is a shorter stack ahead of you. There's 3 players behind. You're not going to get a fold ever from Bert. So you got to at least understand that you're either flipping 4-1 favorite, or a 3-1, maybe an ace X, or one, a gapper that you're fading over some stuff. But either way, it does take the spot. And here we are again now, 4-1 favorite. Whoa, okay, Bert, look at the fold. Bert folded 3s there. That's crazy, man. Is that a misclick? I mean, I get it, but like, that's not a lot of chips. He's going to be flipping in ahead. He's chip leader. I don't understand what happened there. That's actually kind of crazy.
Obviously, he thinks it's at a minimum the 2 big overs, but then a decent frequency with which he's up against a bigger pair, which is the real disaster. And I know you're looking at it and going direct price, pot odds. if you are up against the 2 overs, it's all lining up. But a little bit of discipline there from Stevens. He doesn't have to take the spot. Maybe kick back for a minute, see what's what. And of course, Lee hasn't been out of line, with the exception of the 10-3 suited, which no one else saw. As we see the ace-king here.
Oh,
Just
I don't know,
one
Ali.
time.
I get it. I hear you. I'm just saying. I don't think like that's a crazy spot. And here we go, 16 million. All of a sudden, the short stacks all could be out of harm's way. But this is a scary board.
Yeah,
the
club
clubs
draw.
are live. The jack is live. Can he fade the green? He does. Lead. No one wants to go home.
Incredible.
It is just the blinds are up and the players are in. This is no one exiting yet. 9 left and quite a I gotta check on that threes hand, man. It was like 6 million, Ali, to win.
I love
like
to see it, Jeff. Honestly,
to win like 18 or whatever. I mean, 16 to
just zooming out into the macro, this deep into it, if I would have told you we're still going to have 9 players left with the blinds where they are, with the stack depths, you would have said no shot. You would have taken the under every single time on an hour and 20 minutes. And yet here we are, courtesy of obviously the flips going the short stacks way. But it's made things interesting, man. This is cool. Everybody resilient. How about the joint right away on the flop here for Timoshenko? A 9. Stevens keeping it clean. Where do I want to go from here? No hard on board, bottom pair, coordinated texture. These are the things, the ideas to collect, as my man Nick Schulman likes to say. Queen 10 suited here for Simon Wilson. Now considerably deeper than he's been. So obviously has some latitude to kind of open some pots if he wants to try to chip up.
Also freshly found powder. Just kind of thinking, man, here I go. I just got some chips. Do I need to go in with the modest hand out of early position? I got Eric, who's crazy on the button. Lucas is 3-betting anything he can find that sniffs like a hand. I mean, he just decides to pass on that. I want to say hi to Nathan joining in. What's up, man? Good to see everyone. I hope you guys are having fun watching. We got over 3,000 people watching right now as the show goes on. We will ask you to hit the thumbs up. We do have giveaways for you at the end of the stream. It's going to be $50 or $100 ticket. You will be entered with a keyword at the end of the stream. I do have a tweet on my Twitter as well for $50 actual cash giveaway. So if you guys want to take part in that, check the pinned tweet there. Ali is sweating a dinner himself. That's what we got. Ali and I got action. You got 2 giveaways today, and we are playing for a lot of money for players here. 2.783 million up top, as you see the payouts in the lower left. $250,000 guaranteed for everyone. Pretty nice payday, but a lot to play. How many times you get to play for this kind of money? For $5,000. You just said it. You're doing the super high roller bowl competition where 4 people, 300K buy-in, and the payouts were very similar for the top 4. But here it's 9, get a $250,000 plus, and it's a 5K buy-in. Little different ROI opportunity, 5K to 300K at risk for this type of score. So pretty cool.
7-8, by the way, just getting a little ambitious for Stevens. Note the flat from Timoshenko. Doesn't want to get mixed up with that big stack, given that he's worked hard. Get himself up to this nearly 40 million chip stack to start this one. Second pair along with the gutter. Now it's checked over to him. Interesting river, but I don't know whether or not Stevens thinks that firing here with this ace of clubs on the end is he's going to get the job. It could. I could see the queen jack going into the bin maybe, but let's see. He comes with like half pot, 6-7 million. No, it's just going to knuckle on the strength of the 7.
Yeah, big pots, 12 million. I mean, Jack Queen, not a great run out. Very happy to knuckle back, get to showdown and win it. And up to 48, 49 almost. What's that? 48 million. Very healthy stack all of a sudden, as again, the chips have consolidated. Not too long ago was Bert and Eric hovering at 100, and then the 127 for Bert, who again was sort of like wondering, like myself, is he going to run away with it? Is it just going to be him versus everyone just hanging on? But as we've seen some doubles, some pickups, some non-showdown chip up, so all of a sudden everyone's still in and still healthy at above about 10 blinds. I think our short stack here, the Argentine, with just under 10 blinds as he's in the big blind, we'll get away with the Jack 7 off. Not gonna fight. So yeah, it's Simon's had quite a little bit of a sweat there. The King 10 river chop. He was with the pair flush draw, but in bad shape. Right. He then had to fade clubs. He had to then fade clubs when he had clubs with King Jack suited to Ace King, got the full money worth sweat, and he is back in the game though with 10 blinds if he even gets clear here through the big blind as we see Fabian open up a couple of nines. We really haven't seen a ton of collisions, Ollie. There have been some big hands. There's been aces. We did see some all-ins or shorter stacks. We really haven't seen, you know, queens to kings or aces to kings yet, or any sort of really sick cooler. Fabian made a nice just call with the ace king suited, sort of avoiding out of position big pot with the premium hand. And again, some very alert, assertive play, but also some very ICM wary play as well, which has been a function of why we have not had a knockout. I think that is part of it.
I mean, I want to talk about some of the resumes on these guys here. Maybe they're lesser known to some who are sweating the rail right now, but we've got some real talent in terms of GG winnings. Just get a load of Bert Stevens at the 11.7 million. We know he's a known commodity, but we've got 7-figure tallies for Eric Bacher. He's got $1 million plus in GG winnings. Then you got Lucas Hoffner, almost 4 million for him over the course of his GG career. You got 7.1 million for Yagen Lee, by the way. That was a nice pick in the snake draft by you, a guy who clearly has posted results, but he's had the shackles on him so far here at this FT. He hasn't been able to get anything going, but Hoffner is going to find himself spinning with ace king on ace king here as we see Timoshenko 3-betting the open.
Yeah, I think, you know, Alexander's been really in line. These hands just play themselves out, though. This is actually less fun when you get ripped on and you are calling off with ace king, kind of recognizing you're going to be flipping or ace king or worse in this spot. Probably doesn't have ace queen, ace jack. So as it plays out, though, it is a
oh my god,
that is a dirty free roll opportunity. The clubs have not come in twice so far. Will it come here?
Oh, don't ride the broom, gross.
Clean.
I was going to say
everyone likes a little bit of pain, a little bit of sweat, but honestly, no one wishes that in that situation. You got to root for the chop there. And how could we, Ali? We don't have knockouts yet. No one. We're not going to go a knockout like that. We've avoided it yet,
too dirty.
and we're going to do it again, man. No one has gone home. Everyone's still participating today in this final table. 9 left.
That would have been Trinity from the Matrix mode, not like this, as Timoshenko had the small edge with the Ace of Hearts coverage over the King of Hearts going in pre-flop there, and then really had to pucker up to fade. As we see the little suited connector, you know how tempting these are. Cut off, chance to open. Remember, Ezekiel ripped the 6-7 suited from the button, does the same here, and he's going to get through important pickups on not one but 2 occasions here for Ezekiel as he tries to keep his head above water with these relentless blinds. Up and up they go. 700, 1.4, what we're playing right now. And this ace queen is going to have an issue. Bobby and Rolly with the min-raise open, 2 kings. And Stevens is so dangerous when he gets dealt premiums, Jeff, because again, like we've touched on, you expect the man to do some activating with a higher frequency. The VPIP should be up. And yet here he is with the goods. These 3 bets are tethered to real kit, not just a man out of line. So these ace queens, every now and again, you wonder, might they get curious?
You're right. And you know what? He's now set. He did this earlier. He attacked him with, I believe, ace 3 off, and he got then 8's jam again deeper. But Fabian, just the instincts, just, you know what? He's like, you know what? Ace queen, I'm not messing around. It's all right, man. Take it. You're abusing me. That's okay. But in the moment, he was not in a big aversion there. Doesn't even put more chips in the middle. So got off the hook there, man. Ali, I got a question. We're doing a dinner bet. Do we need to do an over under on if we'll lose a player by X time? Because we made, I mean, no one is, I don't see anyone stamping a ticket to go anywhere. People are canceling dinner plans, dates. I mean, they're trying to stick around playing for a lot of money today.
4 or 5 hours from now, we're going to have a 9-way ICM chop. The guys are just going to decide when no one's going to go home. Everyone's got 7 to 12 bigs. Let's just, no. I mean, listen, it's obviously an interesting idea. I like where we're at. I don't necessarily like where I'm at if I'm Simon Wilson here, as I'm behind and I'm all in.
30 million. The joke could get real in a second. Is it going to fade, though? 9's ahead to the turn. Diamonds, of course.
Diamond draw.
Who doesn't love a good sweat here? To the river. Can it be? It is a clean fade, Ali. And Simon, he battled. He fought. He got there. He chopped. He did it all. He is now your 9th place finisher, $250,000. I did see someone on Twitter to give a shout out. He's a young lad and a big scorer. It's nice to get a 2023 WSOP final table online on your resume and $250,000 to go home with. So nice score there. Probably, not what he wanted, but again, man, nice battle, nice fight, and hopefully many more for Simon there from Ireland. Nice score. Nice, Jeff, nice showing.
Let's acknowledge, just first off, let's put some respect, a shout out to Simon Wilson, but let's acknowledge, I don't think anybody parked in that seat would have fared any better than he did here today. He made the most of what he had. Unfortunately, there really just wasn't an opportunity for him to do anything that would have been within the realm of appropriate and emerge with a different outcome than the 9th place finish, as it were. Card distribution not in his corner.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, exactly. I think he actually did well to even give himself a chance. I mean, look, he played a 30 million pot, basically coin flipping, and actually a cooler against Burt, who is going to have such a wide range, to have a hand that nudged him even in equity with a pair pre-flop. So like he was, he's one flip away there for being in a whole different conversation. Almost like would have been in what, 5th place, would have been a clear 5 and 9 with some short stacks behind. So unfortunate, but again, Burt's been battling, playing a lot of hands. He does get a premium there. 2 9s, holds up the flip, and it is now 8-handed. Poker, shout out to Blake. Good to see you. A lot of familiar faces in the chat. Hello, everyone. Let us know where you're watching from. Already 200 of you have hit the thumbs up. We do appreciate that. Helps with the algorithm, all that good stuff. And we are going to have that as part of our giveaway today. So hit that thumbs up, and we'll give you the keyword at the end of the show for a $50 or $100 giveaway. Again, Ali Nejad, Jeff Gross here. We are going to call a winner, and we are going to give a prize of 2.7 million plus to the winner today. I don't know. In the GG Millions, there's no deal making available, Ali. I'm not sure on this. I don't believe there is deal capability, but there could be. I know GG does have deal making ability. I know for Millions, no. This I'm not sure. I haven't seen anyone put up the flag or sort of the indication that there would be. And for this type of money, I think you might see someone do that, right? If it's an option, maybe someone out of the field would be interested to at least put a flag up. Usually I think that's how it is. They put a little dot or some indication of a deal wanting, and if everyone does it, it goes. So I'm going to find out about that, but I don't know if there is deal making here. I don't know if you're aware.
I think we're going to have some stack consolidation before, if that is an option, we even see it. But note, by the way, you had some big stack bullying going on from Stevens there. Bottom end of his range, the 3-5 offsuit. You saw the respectful limp, ace-8 diamonds from Bakker, not looking to lock horns with the man, and then flops the gutter, barrels through after raising it up in position from the big, and is able to just take it down. And there is that advantage of being the big stack. Bakker annoyed, no doubt about it, but doing the best that he can to deal with the fact that Stevens has been this big stack on his direct left. Really an unfortunate seat draw for him, but must open. Queen Jack suited on the button. Here it is again. Jack 10 suited, real hand, legitimate 3-bet, Jeff. It's dominated. But here we are. Do we really want to play for 11-6 pre with Queen Jack suited against Burt? I don't think so.
Tough spot. I'll tell you what, Eric is, he's not shy, but this is, again, you just see so many shorter stacks, and your stacks worth so much. So yeah, I think you got to just bow out. Good discipline there and a nice execution. Sort of what we just saw before. Burt was back to right around his peak, 126, 127 million. So he is back at his, the Phil Lock coined the great term, upstuck. The first person I ever said, he was still chip leader, but you're kind of down a lot from your upmost point. He is back to that point and in a very strong position and getting, again, favorable spots. Ace queen off, 8-handed, gonna get to put up the temperature. He could flat, he could raise, likely gonna raise, just staying in line with his game plan. And jacks, tough spot, Ali. This could be a hands up one. This would be interesting. A mystery hand. This is not an easy spot.
I think Timoshenko just rips. We've seen a ridiculous amount of activity out of Stevens, and we haven't seen showdown. So to Timoshenko, this looks like abuse. Hafner puts his head, pops it up out of the sand, opens here, button, big stack. Stevens bullying everybody out there, ICM pressure. I think Timoshenko, I think he just jams and takes his chances here. So often, Stevens is just going to have a 3-bet fold.
So yes, I agree, except the only thing is when you look over and you see 12 million, 12 million, 20, 20, and you have 45, and you look at 8th is 339 and 4th is over $1 million. It is definitely worth considering to pucker up. Now, with that said, Ali, he did take the initiative. I think what he's saying here is, hey, I'm gonna 3-bet squeeze. I'm definitely obviously not falling to Lucas. If he woke up with a hand, that's just what it is. And then have a decision. Now, if Lucas jams and Burt jams, he could maybe get off. But
sure.
Yeah, as played.
Let me ask you this: if you're Stevens, let alone Hafner, does this 15.2 look even stronger than the rip?
It does. It does, but it's also, it puts you in a different conversation. Attractiveness to, it's like 9 million more and you're in position, but it looks so strong. I mean, this is a massively strong play from Alexander.
It looks a little bit like an invitation to a 4-bet, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to rip it myself, but I want to invite you to maybe get out of line and then snap you off here. So, I can see why Stevens would let go there. Nice by him with the ace queen, honestly, because Timoshenko has to have so much hand to make that play. And when he puts the 15 million in, it doesn't feel a whole lot like the 25 isn't going to sail in behind it if you try to get frisky with the 4-bet there. So good discipline there from Stevens. He's sun running right now, feeling swaggy, wind at his back. We can all be a little bit guilty of thinking like, okay, let me just click call here, or rip it in here. Let's see what's what. And then all of a sudden you lose a 40 million chip pot and you're left wondering how the heck did that just happen? As we see Yagen Lee very infrequently involved, happens to have flopped top pair here, Jeff, after defending against these relentless opens from Stevens, and he's not going to go anywhere with the gutty and the nut flush draw as Yagen makes trip eights, and he's not out of the woods.
No, cards on their back, it's a pure flip, and then the river.
Oh, is it a spade? No.
Wow. Fades it. Yagen. Look at this guy. He's got moxie and he's got 24 mil all of a sudden. He is out of the trap, and he is, again, now it's actually crazy. He's in what? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. He's 5 of 8 and pretty tight with the other players. And our Argentine is the short stack with 10 million. And here we go. Ace, queen, Lucas. These are the ones you just jam or do you raise? 8-handed under the gun. There's so many players to act. I think most players are just going to open, not rip, but you could rip too, because it's also we saw this earlier, right? That was it the ace queen versus king 7 suited, where under the gun open, didn't shove, a similar stack, got a tough flop. So there's pros and cons, just like anything in life, always pluses and minuses. But here he does take the path of aggression. And actually, if the Argentine, our friend there, Ezekiel, had done that, he would have just picked up the pot, right? It's always, you can always say, it's different situations, but as it turned out, he did get blown off the pot. If he had just shoved, he would have picked up the chips. Instead, he raised and then had to fold. So yeah, little different situation, little different 9-handed, 8-handed. Stack size is not exact, but again, so many butterfly effects in poker, right? There's so many different options you have, sizings, decisions, going for it, sitting back. And here we see fours. Ramiro is saying, hey man, Bert, I know I'm on to you. I know you're raising a lot.
That was this,
a bit unlucky, like Simon, right? Similar spot, ace queen suited 4, Simon shoves, gets called. Ramiro though takes it down, doesn't get called, would have been a flip as well.
And the fact that we found an open and then a fold against the 3-bet from Stevens in that last one there is going to leave people really wondering. Because remember, a lot of his hands haven't gone to the showdown when he's been 3-betting, taking it, open raising, taking it. So they're realizing that mixed in there, as there should be, are going to be some folds. As we've seen, a lot of the hands that didn't get the showdown were very real. But it could tempt somebody into making a move like the one that Ramiro just made moments ago. Pocket nines, again, really, it must be said, lion's share of the card distribution at this FT has gone to Stevens, and he's made the most of it. We see him 9 figures plus. So much runway between him and the next 2 biggest stacks, Timoshenko and Bakker, who really, you can see them scaling back their involvement. Ace, queen offsuit, obviously, you can't fold that one, but you hate having to open. And Stevens and Bakker, the 2 guys in the big blind here. Or in the blinds, rather. 8-6 offsuit.
Yeah. Bert going to go ahead as the chip leader, going to defend. I mean, Alexander has chips. He is under the gun, strong range, but nice flop for Bert. Advantage, 8-6 all of a sudden flips the script. Now a pretty big lead, and Alexander does decide that he has, range advantage, pretty clean board, is going to take a swing at it, although we know that won't shake top pair. So likely just go check call. And now what does Alexander do? Does he follow through or slow down? This is
I mean, the 4s are all his, Jeff, right? We know that he's going to have a wide range of hands that he is going to continue with. And this is, no matter what you really have, if you're Timoshenko, this is a lead by Stevens that freezes you. You can't do anything silly because you know that the 4s belong to him in terms of range. Note that he does flat, though, not buying it. Feels like maybe this was a line that was kind of a foregone conclusion for Stevens. Flat, check call lead if no big cards come on the turn. So keeping an eye on the man. This is an interesting
spot for Steven. I actually don't mind a sort of smallish blocker bet, because if you your opponent would play nines the same way plus, right? They would bet the flop and then check, just call the turn. So you actually are, it's sort of split on the ace, queen, ace, kings, and then the pairs. So interesting. He does check and maybe I guess goes with a check to side. Now, Alexander, kind of the bad news, right? If you bet, you realize you could be good because he's bluffing. Now it kind of looks like showdown. So you're sort of in a tough spot here with ace, queen.
I think you got too much showdown value here. It could have been a heart draw on the turn from Stevens.
Yeah.
Sick feeling.
Yeah, that's my point though too. I think that it kind of looks like you're not good though, right? Because if he did have the heart draw, he might fall through with the hand that can't win. Instead, when he checks, you're kind of like shit. Like I have a good showdown hand-ish, but yeah, it's a tough spot. I don't blame him. I think he played it pretty standard. You could argue the turn on the call on the turn is a little light, but it does show he realizes that they're bluffs and he wanted to see what's going to happen on the river. So nice execution from Bert. And again, another pot goes his way. He has got 124. And Mr. Argentina coming in, Ali, to the big blind very short here. 9.6, 1.4 is the big blinds, and he is in trouble.
Well, first things first, 10-8 suited. Little one gapper on the button. Opens and gets 3-bet by the ace-5 suited. Oh, this feels weird, Jeff. Whenever they start tanking like this, I feel as though the hamster's on the wheel, gears are turning a little bit. All of a sudden, you feel like the 4-bet in here, and Timoshenko can't call unless he really has, the goods.
I mean, the price, again, main event, 5K, ICM, all of it. Like the price is attractive. It's got a lot of hand, 8-10 suited, but do you really want to get in the business? It doesn't feel like a situation of flat and just go for it and try to play cute poker. So he does get out of the way. Nice execution. Mystery hand, Ali. It is time. This is a fun one. King, queen, small blind. Let's see what Ali's doing here at home. All of you, this is one of the ones the last one was a tricky one. This one, let's see how dicey it gets as Fabian is in the tank here with 52 million, going to fold around. And of course, Bert, does he have a fold button here? This is part of the puzzle. Probably not.
No, absolutely not. With 3 players, middling stacks of 55 and change, and you got that ultra short Ezekiel in the big blind, there is no middling stack. Now, I think I like a 3-bet here from Timoshenko to the amount that Ezekiel has in front of him. But of course, I'm a psychopath and I'm willing to get involved against the chip leader who I feel like is going to be, out of line. The problem is that Stevens puts the 4-bet in there and now all of a sudden the king queen has to just go away. But top 2 pair on this board after we have flatted, and you see clearly we're happy to check over to Stevens and let him follow through. But this is a board texture for me, Jeff, that smashes the guy who flat calls me from the small blind. Maybe from time to time we have the under pairs to the board, just set mining. But vast majority of the time, I feel like we've got pair and a straight draw at minimum.
Yeah, great. That's exactly right. So when you bet, you could have stone air, ace x too, just try to fold those low pairs. Now, if he keeps telling a story, it's a little scary. Does he have ace 10? Does he have ace jack off? Does he have some gutter? Maybe he picks up diamonds. You unblock diamonds right now. So now even more so, you're obviously top 2, right? You're not folding. You're kind of closing your eyes. This feels like the ace jack scenario a little bit where you flop top 2. You're so strong. This board's scarier though than that ace jack rainbow. This is like, you start realizing, you call here, you put a 10, a jack on the river, you put an ace on the river, you put a diamond on the river, and now all of a sudden you're playing for your stack.
There's so many nasty cards.
Here, 18, 32 in the middle. He's got 36. It's a SPR of 1. Oh, there it is. The jack, 4-liner. Ali, what is happening here? And Bert, is he going to unload the clip? Is he going to rip it in as a bluff to put his stack on the line? He's a guy who's capable. This is quite a situation, Ali. Let's see if we get to see a...
Here's the thing, Jeff. I don't think Stevens feels as though Timoshenko would check this river if he had a 10. And if he can safely remove a 10 from Timoshenko's range, you can plow it in there right now, and a lot of different hands have got to fold no matter what you've got.
He's going to do it, right? He's going to shove. This is a mystery hand. This has got to be... This is just north of 1 SPR. It's not all in as well.
Milky.
Even a little more scary, Ali, a little more strong. Like, I want those 19 come with it. I mean, man, tough spot.
I mean, so many 10x combos could take this line. Ace 10 of diamonds, you know.
I'll say this. I'll say this. The not having no diamond in my hand matters in this spot a fair amount, because now he is opening all the like 2-5 suited diamond. He's opening every diamond combination. I find it very difficult to find a fold here. At the same token, he's gonna call. Oh man,
there it is.
He just has the goods. He has the stone cookies on the flop and gets 3 streets, and that is a absolute nightmare for Alexander. What a situation. Bert's got 160 and Ali. What were you thinking call there? Were you not? Were you torn? What it was happened fast.
I mean, I just feel like on the turn is where I probably end up losing the money. You know, if I'm Timoshenko, he did end up flopping the joint. Obviously, Alexander did well to preserve his stack. And obviously, in retrospect, Stevens is like, man, maybe I could have gone for the full amount, because you know that the polarity of the river jam makes the king-queen feel even cozier potentially, right? Because the busted diamonds, no 10, maybe turning smaller 2-pair into a bluff, you know, just, man. But the sun run, by the way, I mean, Stevens is walking on the surface of the solar system here. Just an incredible display. 160 coming into this one. The 210s now staring at 2 overcards.
That was crazy. I do wonder if he shoved all in. If he had what would have happened, honestly. It's a really, really tough.
You think he gets away from it against the rip for all the chips?
Oh man, such a tough spot.
So gross.
I don't know, Ali. I don't know. I just don't know what's going on there.
No diamond for Fabian, by the way, with the 210s. Where do we go from here? Into the bin it goes, and Stevens continues to be just this collapsing, just this supernova, man. Just its own gravitational pull. Everything just plowing right into the black hole that is Bert Stevens' seat. Nines now for Fabian.
I got to mention, I forgot to mention this exactly. You know, Bert has been a little booth run good here, Ali. He's been a guest on the show. He has been as a Super Millions guest. So he is no stranger. As I said, he has a very popular Twitch stream. Absolute legend, man. I'm telling you, you're going to spend a little time after the show, you know, digress and go through his Twitter feed, and you will see some very, very different content out there. Great guy, a lot of fun, and really, like I said, lives in a farm. His streaming setup's wild. He's like in the back room of like a barn, basically, as it looks like, and he's got chickens and stuff running around and goats. I mean, it's the real deal. He is authentically out there in the world. Like he's taken a different approach, and he might buy a new farm or two. Honestly, that's a lot of land. I imagine somewhere in Belgium for 2.7 million you could pick up extra.
That's a lot of hay.
Quite a historic moment. For sure, for Twitch and for streaming and content and all of it. This is very cool.
Maybe he's the modern day Huck Seed. Jeff, you know, Huck marches to the beat of his own drum. He's actually off the grid here in Vegas. He's moved to a house that, you know, septic, you know, solar, just maybe we got a spirit animal in terms of Stevens here, as we see.
I'm telling you,
take it for him.
He's got 170, man. He is officially a runaway train now. When he had 127, but no, this is he can rip it on someone with the 54 million and still be fine. He has got a lot of powder, a lot of ammo, and he is going to town right now. And really, no one wants to get in his way, as it is the 6 million stack leveraging for sure here now. There's Yagen, there's Ramiro, there's Lucas, all sort of handcuffed. Let's see, is he going full? All right, 7-10 off under the gun. He's going to pass on a few, not 100%, but it is. Yeah, that is quite a healthy stack. Really big spot.
No, he has absolutely been a stone cold flamethrower to the field. No doubt about it, but picks a good time to get away, as Ramiro with the ace king will be heard from. Most of his chips into the middle. Wonder, these 2 6s, that's a lot to play for. You know that the full 20 is going to be what it's going to take. I don't think Fabian makes this call. I don't think he wants to spin the wheel. He's looking up at 6.4 in front of Ezekiel. He's looking at Yagen. with 20, Lucas with 17. Yeah, good fold.
Yeah. Yeah, Ramiro been fairly quiet. He was pretty active early, kind of got put in some weird spots, chipped down a bit, but here he is, 24 million. Again, one of those guys that you know with the experience, the pedigree, kind of hangs around, all of a sudden catches a little heat. Just the experience matters. And if he can get himself with the double or chip up a bit, can be a bit more of a force. As of right now, we see kings. Wow, kings to queens, man. Button, small blind, number 2 and 3 stack too, Ali. This is what we were talking about earlier. We haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen it, and now we're getting to see it. And I mean, queens, we've seen some cautious play, ace king suited flats, you know, not go crazy, but this is up in the cooler territory. This is sort of a different conversation. This isn't like, all right, I got ace king and whatever. This is a big hand.
No,
and also, do you really want to invite the chip leader to call with a hand like that? No. So we're going to see a 3-bet. This has got the makings of all ins. Oh, wow. I mean, just a committal shove.
That's beefy there. And you're looking up at that 21 and change, and you're thinking, yeah, all of it, pass it along. Maybe there's some world in which you've got a 3-bet fold, but doubtful. Just too much.
Yeah,
hand.
This is Vegas in the Mirage. You know he's committed. You know he doesn't have aces. This is kings. You realize probably exactly something like this, jacks or tens. And no,
my God.
Queen. I mean, come on, man. Fabian gets set up, and Eric is on to the river. If he can fade paint and a king, it will be a massive all-in and a knockout. It has not paint, Ali. That is 94 million going the Dutchman's way. That is a cruel set. The whole thing is cruel, and that is how we're going to lose our next player, Fabian, who played a really nice game. And again, cooler on the wrong side that turns out to go your way, and that puts Eric over 100 million. And not yet. I mean, that is exactly. Get me one of those, cut some holes in it, and just continue. This is that's violence. That is not what you dream, and you don't want to see that for anybody. At the same time, part of the game, the 4-to-1s, the coolers, part of how poker happens. And yeah, Ali said it. That sums it up. You could clip that and send that in. That is exactly how our friend feels. What flag is that, by the way? That is a very exotic flag. I don't think I know what that is. And Ali needs a minute. Ali's going to need a second, actually. You're going to keep the action and going to need to just say, yeah, that is not fun. And here is another all-in. King, queen to ace, deuce. I'm sorry. It's an all-in and a fold. He gets the fold equity from ace high. Actually gets a better hand to fold. The right player to shove on. The next shortest stack. Huge moment there for Ezekiel. And Ali, take a second. Seriously, I see that really, I mean, you had to put yourself in a timeout. I mean, that was a wild deal. Kings to
that was
queens,
my guy. That was my guy, Fabian, right there. He worked hard. He spun it up. He had the best hand. Lion's share of the equity. This is the way the cookie crumbles, of course. Obviously, there's some holes in his drywall at the house right now. Maybe a broken mouse or a monitor. We understand emotional regulation can be challenging at times, but he didn't do anything wrong. He found the spot that he wanted all day long. Run that 100 times and see how the queens fare. But unfortunately, on this occasion, with so much on the line, obviously such a gut punch for him, Jeff. But congrats to Fabian, finishing in 8th. I mean, really rated to do much better than that at that stack depth. It took that kind of cooler for him to get out before all of these shorter stacks that you're looking at right now. But such is the merciless nature of No Limit Hold'em.
I don't want to, you don't want to really pile on, but it is, you look at the payouts, right? His stack, he would be in a clear second place, and you have to figure he's going to get top 3 most of the time with that stack, right? Maybe even heads up or better.
You can't fold.
Yeah, it's at least worth $1 million. That's $1 million hand for two outer, for like almost always. Let's just say he gets forced somehow or whatever. So pretty sick. But again, 6,000 entries, Ali probably got there along the way, probably won some big flips. You know, I'm sure he played great. And again, so 339K from 5K buy, definitely in the moment doesn't feel good, but that is a healthy score. Congrats. Well played. And did you say what flag it is? I don't recognize that.
I want to say, was it the Philippines? I wasn't positive. Now it's gone. It was not the Philippines.
I don't think so.
Taiwan, maybe?
Possible.
I don't know.
Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna ask on that. It was a cool looking flag. And here, Yagin, King Jack suited, pretty spicy hand. He's gotten some shove and throw. Wow. Gonna just, I mean, is that the timeout fold? That is like the Regis that show call a friend and just like, I'm out. Like I don't want. I guys got 6 million. We're talking about home improvements. all kinds of pay jump opportunities, and he just doesn't want to see a flop there, I guess, Ali. He doesn't want to hit the pair, get coolered, or have to whatever. He's just out. He sees the 6.8 million stack, and he is chilling, because that's a pretty hand to fold closing the action.
Tell you what, that took a lot of restraint, man. But look at what Yagen Lee's managed to do already, Jeff, in terms of pay jumps. He's locked up 457,000. That's over 200K just by sitting back, picking his spots. Other than the 10-3 suited, which he just ripped out there, I haven't seen him really do much, just kind of laying low and content to maybe let the coolers transpire all around him. And in doing so, make money. And there's another pay jump, by the way, from 7th to 6th. Get a load of it, Jeff. $161,000. You're looking at Ezekiel, who's jamming the ace-jack over here, and you're thinking, somebody shower this man and send me that $161. I don't have to do anything until we find out what happens with the Argentine stack.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Lucas, although this is like a pretty much always going to be a call, it is close in the sense that you are now you're putting chips at the risk, but yeah, you got to call King Jack. You could be ahead, you could be flipping, and you could get there. That's also something you could do, is hit and out flop, and that is happening. He was dominated, and he's got to fade now just an ace, and it will be another elimination. It's not going to happen, Ali. The Argentine the World Cup current rating winners, little Messi vibes in there for you. A little miracle in the 90th. On the thing. Wow, man.
Snake draft implications, Jeff. All of a sudden, you were staring at the appetizer menu there a little bit with Hoffner potentially showering my second player, but give you a little finger wag, my friend. Little finger wag.
Well, Matumbo, I get it. Yeah, no, we're desserts and drinks the whole nine. Maybe a +1 on this dinner. This is definitely. This is intense, man. You got a lot of chips, though. I don't feel bad for you. You got Bert just kind of cruising around. And I like Bert. I actually don't mind. I'd love to treat you to a nice dinner. Bert is the guy I actually know. I've known him a long time, battled with him a lot online, for years and years. And he's really hung in there. And one of those guys we mentioned, that sort of great player that dipped his toes into the content world and found himself a niche in Twitch. And
what he found himself is an ace on the turn, Jeff. Look at this, up against the gut shot on the queen 10 board with just that dusty ace-6, and now he can just comfortably barrel at this. Eric could think king high is good some of the time here. You never know, but he can't expect just a check back from Stevens all the time.
He also took his little bout, right? He took that shot with the king 3 off, took a 3 street line, kind of got the horn with the bull type of deal. And now, you do start looking around, and now you're all of a sudden like, wow, it's what, you're 7-handed. There's some super short stacks, and I think you sort of let it set in. 2 million is second. I'm half of first, but I'm also more than, what is he like? Look at the stacks, Ali. He's over 4x third place. So like at some point you might just like say, look it, man, Bert, do your thing. Let's get the heads up. Let me, respect. I'm gonna like, let's get this thing played out a little bit. There's real money up top. I mean, how often you get a 7-figure score? It's a 5K buy-in. This is this is crazy.
It's Bert's farm, and everybody's just living in it. A fox in the hen house here, just raiding, helping himself to all the eggs. As Ezekiel now maybe a little wind at his back, pocket jacks under the gun. Jeff 7's waiting on him on the button.
I think just a shove, man. You're gonna really min raise, get a weird flop. Like you just shove. It's just too tight. The short stacks are too tight. The money's too big. You don't want to allow king queen off or ace 10, ace X to call you and play with you. So yeah, I like the shove there. Huge moment. I mean, these stacks are so tight. The bottom 4 stacks and the payouts are so massive. I mean, we're talking top 4 million plus, 5th 835. They're all so sweet. Second is $2 million. Crazy. I'm asking about checking about the deal making, and again, the Europe. You may as well take a look if you're from Europe. You, like I said, stay up. It's what time there in Europe. You might want to stay alert, because the free roll for the $2 million continental leaderboard is definitely dominatingly Europe at the moment, with 2 players alone, almost 300 million in chips there. And Lucas is going to go all in, and tens. Ali, too much hand, or are you in the ICI? I think this is actually a close spot. It's close. I mean, yes, you almost have to go with it, of course, but at the same time, it's not fun.
No, but I think he has to rip it.
Too much hand.
I think he has to get it in there. Yeah. And an even better one on a queen high board. The 10's looking good. Wait a minute. Look at that for a sweat
Yeah, that's
card.
a sweat. That's a real
Stopping
action
wet.
card.
Broadway. Oh, is it a club? No. Okay.
Nope.
Whew.
Clean.
Clean two-sider.
Alexander got the extra little sweat, and not a knockout, but a life support. Lucas down to under 1 big blind now. Trying to get confirmation on the country. Oh, Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein, I believe, is what they're saying. The player
Okay. I confess I've never seen the flag for Liechtenstein.
Good friend of mine's wife is from there. That's the only thing I know about the country. That's all. I've never really heard or met anyone other than one
Near
person.
Switzerland, I believe, somewhere up there in northern central Europe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm mixing it up with Luxembourg. I'm not sure.
It sounds fancy. It's expensive. I think it's good quality of life in there. It sounds expensive.
Oh, good quality of hands too, but unfortunately a couple of ace-queen suiteds are going to be working against the 2 kings for Yagen Lee. That's your man, Jeff. Got a nice little setup in terms of interference. His equity goes way up when an ace and a queen is busy in not 1 but 2 spots.
Pretty sweet spot, not to mention that he is going to get called by Eric, very easily called with his stack and with that money put in the middle. And this is I mean, look at Bert. I think Bert's doing a little two-stepping over there. He might be doing high-fiving the goats outside. Look at this. The man just couldn't help it. This one, I don't know. I guess he's just attacking Eric with the side pop, but he just stepped in, and he has now got 12 million on the line. And if you're Eric, I mean, I guess you could get away now, right? You don't want to deal with Bert.
I think you do.
Million, like, what are you really trying to do? I guess it just stinks and you fold.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right. I mean, Ali, this
Holy smokes, look at this flop for Hofner.
For hand of the ace queen suit has got top pair nut flush draw to stay in the tournament. Ace queen is there. 4-6 somehow is just, I guess, just out. They're just like, all right, what happened? I'm surrendering. No equity, no shot. This is going to showdown. Yagen's going to get to turn the cards over, and ace queen has got to be a little confused. But either way, I mean, this is quite a situation. Yagen, can we talk about Yagen, who is
look at the size
of
the main? I mean, there's an active side, but of course, it doesn't seem like Stevens is going to get out of line, and an absolutely dry river over here. Lee is going to scoop 36 and change in there. Bakker is going to chop up the side, is it? Is Hofner in for that 5-5? He must be.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Bakker, I'm shocked he's taking us. He's betting here. Either way, this is a Yagen life line. Ace queen suited is out. Had a lot of flop there. That's a tough hand to bust on, although he was super short. And Bert just kind of flicking in. He folds 3s for like 6 million, and then he just puts in the 4-6 suited, attacking Eric. So again, playing the full range of poker. He's showing us all the moves, and he's got 180, and he is on fire right now. This is going to get really interesting really fast as we are down to 6 players. Ali, that was quite a hand. That was something I did not expect. The 4-6 suited. I'm telling you, he's out there. He's having fun.
That was a power shift, my friend. Yagen Lee faded quite a bit. I mean, granted, the ace queens weren't doing well in terms of beating him with an ace or a queen, but the clubs out there, 2 to come. Hofner, obviously, real disappointed not to have been able to haul that one in. Instead, showers for him. He's going to take 7th, 457,000 and change, and the big jump of 161 being enjoyed by Ezekiel and Ramiro, who have basically fought clean, sat back, bobbed and weaved, picked up blinds when they needed to, and now have the opportunity for an even bigger, almost $220,000 pay jump. Insane ladders available right now, as patience has been virtue and profitable.
Absolute license to pile, style, all of it. He has just got to have a field day against these 16, 18, and 20 million stacks. I mean, he is just going to literally innie to it. And I mean, man, what a spot, what a time for Bert. This is exactly the spot if it folds to him. And to be fair, Eric has to be very wary about opening here, because we've seen the willingness to attack with 6-4 suited. So he does open ace-10, a little too much hand to pass up, but ace-queen finds itself a nice spot here, going to get to shove. And honestly, a kind of stinks for Eric. I guess too much. It's going to be a fold, I imagine, although it's getting kind of close on the 10 blinds, man. It really is close.
Let's not overlook that Stevens got real out of line there with that 4-6 3-betting and making that pot as big as it was, which of course has, comes with not just losing.
And our friend from Argentina in a good position to potentially go, and can we get a sweat? Little straight card, flush card? No, got to hit the 10 or the 10 only, or we are going to be in a new situation chip wise. Deuce. That is not good. That is a double for our friend there. What a battle he's been on the short stack. And now 40 million puts him tied up with Yagin. So again, sort of a three-part race here again. We got 16, 19, then we got the 40, 40, 58, and then you have Bert just out there in his own island doing his thing. And
this has been a sick final table, Jeff. This is awesome. I mean, I'm sitting back. I know it's our responsibility to deliver the content. A lot of times the kind of spots have spoken for themselves. Not a lot of post-flop, you know, multi-street. Let's consider some things, opportunities, what with the setup the way that it is. But I mean, everybody that's tuning into this one has really had some entertaining spots to bear witness to. Nothing entertaining about the blinds going up, though, to 1 million, 2 million. If you're on the short stack, like Ramiro is here, dwindling down to 7 bigs back from the 4 million that you've already had to stick in there in the form of the big blind ante. You do dominate this queen 9 suited. Let's see Yagin Lee, first time that he's been able to loosen his collar with a big stack, and immediately you see him attacking Ramiro.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun spot right now. It's a very fun spot. And this is actually 7 blinds, queen 10 off. I mean, this is very close. I think Yagin also has shown some random aggression, 10-3 suited, some other spots. I think, you know, Ramiro, though, ICM would definitely lean towards not loving it, but the risk premium. He's also the shortest stack. That matters, right? What are you actually putting on the line? It's sort of a age-old tale and very close. This is a little chess clock going down there, 12 minutes, 15. You see it, thinking about it, thinking about the risk reward, future game. If he doubles here, how much is it worth? How likely is he to ladder if he folds and goes through the blinds here as the next shortest? Because you do see Ramiro now in a different conversation with his stack. So he does call, and he is ahead. Queen 10, queen 9, game of inches. What are we going to see this run out? And it is so far queen 10 in the lead.
A lot of chops, though.
Also some chop opportunities available. A lot happening here. Don't want to pair each other's card. And a 3. So is that a chop?
It's a chop.
Yeah. A lot of action there. I mean, what do you think? Queen 10, you like the call? It's pretty it's very close.
No, I don't like it, but I'm not criticizing it. I understand. You expect that Yagin, especially finally with enough chips to actually attack. And remember, you mentioned something interesting. You know, we saw him getting out of line with the 10-3 suited. We saw it, but Ramiro didn't. What Ramiro saw is a couple of kings. What Ramiro has seen at Showdown out of Lee is real kit. So obviously that jam doesn't feel like it's out of line, but it is coming on the heels of winning that big pot and looking to put pressure on us. So obviously good on Ramiro there for sticking his neck out there. Disappointingly, wasn't able to scoop that one with the queen 10 against the queen 9 as we see Lee with the 6s taking that one down. A couple of jack 10s. Suited version is obviously far more attractive as we see Timoshenko mulling things over here. Sub 10 bigs, ace 9.
Eight, 3 off, ace 9. Yeah, I mean, 9. It's just the 1 mil, 2 mil, and he does take it. Takes the spot. Jack 10 suited. Not able to get involved now, and actually gonna looks like slide this through. 8, 3 off. Bert definitely is willing to play a lot, but want to be the one first in, not calling off, and definitely not with a hand like that. So again, now a couple of people have doubled up here. Not super short. We do have 2, I'd say short, very short. 7s though. Oh. We might just.
This is going to be interesting.
Eric, though, isn't a guy who just lays over. He may be open. He's been playing these type of hands. He does decide not a good time for it with Bert. And Bert going to shove in. Man, Alexander, this is also like not super fun, but how can you fold? This is going to be like an any 2 shove. So it's just sort of a great spot for 10 blinds. You look over at Ramiro, he's short too, but at some point you got to take a stand somewhere.
Yeah, but Ramiro being a little bit shorter, he's going to have to find a spot to pick up chips in order for that big pay jump, as we see the set of 7s after Timoshenko does dig in, leaving him in great shape, but a gutter on the turn. Hang on. Anything but that 4-sider. Clean. 2-side club.
Clean. Bert, 150. Not easy, Ali. It is not easy to run over a tournament, and we are seeing him just sort of hovering. He's still in an amazing position, but we are starting to see like similar stacks, 50, 34, 40. It's a little different if he wins that hand. He's got 200 and he's just going to town. Now, you know, you don't want to just double up a 45, 50 million stack. So he's got to be a little bit careful. Ramiro going to take a stand with ace 4 off, and Alexander for 7 blinds, ace 7 off, one more player behind. One of the benefits of shoving here, right? Ramiro, you do get some better hands to fold, and we do see him get that exact scenario happen. Yagin, can we talk about Yagin with 50? I mean, he just looks good with 50. He's been kind of doing his thing, playing, taking some moves, and sort of quiet, but also making some aggressive spots. And he is in the mix. Very wide open game right now, especially for, let's call it second, right? First is looking clean for Bert. A lot of poker left, but the second place, third place slots, ton to play for in itself. 2 million for second, and we are still
7.1 million plus in career GG earnings for Yagin, Jeff. That's not an accident. The man knows what he's doing out there. Obviously, situations have been thought about. They've been experienced. Something to be said for all of that. And I touched on the fact that China, still in its infancy relative to the rest of the world in terms of online poker and poker in general, but a lot of talent coming out of that part of the country. Obviously, a good mind on Yagin and a good nose for what's going on out there at this FT. He's really done nice things, and obviously woke up with 2 kings against a couple of ace queens. And, you know, Stevens was really the fire starter in terms of 3-betting in that particular pot with a really dusty suited 1-gapper that really aided Yagin in terms of his ascent here into second. Now, on the topic of suited 1-gappers, Ramiro waking up with one, but he will just concede, looking for a better spot than that. He is the short stack, so all eyes on Ramiro right now, the man from Uruguay. Jeff, when you're looking at a pay jump of 220,000, if I'm out there, I'm just looking over and going, okay, show me a double, show me that you're going to chip up. Otherwise, I'm content to have you whittle your way down to the showers or your spin and then see what's what. As we see 2 king 4s here. Walker, king 4 offsuit.
Yeah, 8 blinds, king high. You know that guy's capable. You just call off though with king 4 off. Like, even if you're ahead, it's just not a lucrative proposition. Ramiro showing us some of his short stack capabilities, making some good calls, good shoves. He does have a playable hand, 10 jack suited on the button, 10 blinds. You know, you talk about first in. It's powerful. You know that Bert is not incentivized to call off light here. And again, like a little different scenario that's just taken place, Ali. There's a couple very short stacks. Now all of a sudden, no one's got less than 10 blinds, and things have tightened up.
Huge back-to-back pickups for Ramiro right there, Jeff. No question about it. Jam, take it, jam, take it. Couple of orbits worth of chips. Absolutely pivotal for him in terms of giving him a little bit of breathing room, putting some more grains of sand into that hourglass.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely very important. Very, very important to pick up pots in close spots, because the blinds do come hard, heavy, fast, especially when it's 6-handed. You can't just sit back and wait for, you know, ace jack plus pairs. You gotta be willing to be first in and also make some calls. Like we saw the queen 10 off, he had him pipped, they chopped. That was another spot he could have won some chips. Yagin definitely running well and some timing and situations, but also playing well. And here, deuces, 30 million, very interesting spot. You're going to see shoves a lot, but at the same token, it is not so fun to put deuces on the line. I think that's like a pretty standard play, and we are going to see
jams over the top. I like it. Recognizing that the risk reward right there, pretty strong. Willing to stick his neck on the chopping block with that ICM out there in spite of Ramiro. Obviously, Bert Stevens can wake up with the hand, but you saw him deuce 5 and 9-6 offsuit in succession opening, as we see ace jack suited. Gets a flat from Bert. That's a bit of a rare sight. Now king 10 suited has an invitation to join the party here.
Yep.
Declines
flats,
and would not have hit anything.
Diamonds to overs, but threes definitely has a bit of an advantage with the sets here, right? The 8s, 4s, 7s. I mean, I don't think Eric's going to open 4s here. I guess would open 7s, but yeah, I think Bert gonna be overall a little more happy with this board, and Eric not in a spot to get too sticky. At the same time, if he does show aggression, he actually could just pick up the pop, but I don't know. I mean, this is sort of, you look around the shorter stacks here, he's like in a four-way tie, 43, 37, 45, 45 million, and Ramiro shorter. So again, there's a time to put a cape on, Ali, and right now there's a lot of money on the line. You know, you just don't need to get that cute. You just kind of want to not be the one to be at risk unnecessarily at this moment.
Yeah, just taking the lower variance path right now until things come into focus a little bit more in terms of Ramiro's fate, I think is something that you can do profitably. How many times have you been in that spot, Jeff, where you feel like, okay, yeah, no, just on the merit of the hand, not taking anything else about the chip distribution and the landscape, the ICM into consideration, let me peel one here. Then all of a sudden you wind up picking up the big combo draw on the turn. You can't really force the action. You check call another barrel, and there you are adrift on the river, wondering what to do and wondering how the heck you committed so many chips into this pot as Stevens is able to abuse all three streets in position against you. And I think that's what Eric's just looking to avoid, as again, he has such a bad seat at present.
And don't sleep on Yagin. Just slips in a cool ace deuce off 3-bet, gets sixes to fold. I mean, showing moxie, that's not an easy spot right now. I mean, again, it's so easy to sit back and just like, all right, I'm just going to really lock in, let things take place. But he's proactively opening, 3-betting ace 2 off, opening the queen 8 on the button. Not a guaranteed open there, right? You got the 20 mil shove stack. You got a player, Eric, who's willing to battle. So he's showing he's playing, and he's chipping up to 60 million now. He is in second place at the moment.
This is incredible spin up here from Yagin. Obviously, the real catapult, the launch pad, the kings against the two ace queen suiteds. But this is a man who had like 10 million in chips not that long ago, Jeff. Snowman on the button here for Uruguay's finest. Predictably able to raise and pick up the blinds. Little ace 9 suited on the button is serviceable for Bacher. Upstairs we go. Just a min raise. Take it down, sir.
Yep. Yeah. Bert, 150. 150. He has got 2.5 second place with 6 left. And nice hand here to shove again. 17 blinds. Almost 20 blinds, 19 blinds effective, I guess. So yeah, pretty clean, pretty nice hand to do it with. Gonna get.
No, he's the playground bully, and everyone knows it. Not really anybody can do anything about it. Is Yagin with a couple of aces? Unfortunately, it looks like he's gonna rate to get a walk in this one.
Yeah, if Bert's got the 180,
gets out of line,
he may decide any two to kind of keep going, but 150 and some shove stacks, he's not gonna open here. And now, yeah, probably. Yagin's also been a little crazy, so a little less incentive even to try to limp in there for 6-9. So kind of frustrating to get aces in the big blind and not even get a complete.
I'll take over on kind of frustrating, Jeff. That's stone tilting right there. But he's got nothing to complain about on an epic spin up.
Yeah, appreciate everyone watching. Another nice hand for Bert. Say hello, hit the thumbs up. Going to give you guys a key word here shortly for the $50 or $100 GG ticket giveaway. I'll remind you one more time, pin tweet on my Twitter. It is a $50 cash giveaway. You guys can enter there, and we will have that plus a $50 or $100 cash giveaway end of the stream. So 2 giveaways today, no hands up. The jackpot for hands up was hit. We'll be back for the GG Millions next Tuesday. Same time, same place. 10K buy-in, final table, and again, Ali, we had Bert Stevens on. Maybe, I don't know. I could actually try. Let me see if I have the date. I think he was on. In March. I'm almost sure. March or April he was on. So fresh, a little earlier this year, but nice to see him doing well. This is a life-changing score, man. What are you doing? 2,700,000, Ali, for 5K buy-in. I mean, that is. I know you don't play a lot of tournaments, but this is. I'm just trying to think. Like that kind of ROI is just wild.
I'm going used Bugatti Chiron with enough left over for gas, tires, and your first maintenance appointment. I think that's it. Just all in.
That's what I like it. This little extra toy.
A little depreciating asset. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen, I'm not mad. I like it. That's one of those. What does that run? That's right in that neighborhood. Used.
Yeah. I think if you're lucky, you find one maybe with a couple door dings. You can pick it up with 2-6.
That was quite a ticket. And Jack 4 off the Robbie, who was also on the show recently as a guest, that she's really that hand gets talked about a lot and not going to get played there. Eric just doesn't go for it. Doesn't want to go against the 3-deuce there. Doesn't want to tango with the chip leader. Things have gotten serious. Everything's slowed down.
Don't overlook the fact, Jeff, that Ramiro on the button there did not open the pot with ace-3. He is the short stack and was worried about maybe one of these big stacks having enough to make things uncomfortable for him. So he just mucked that one. And back on the topic of Robbie, did you see the tweet that she sent in response to Garrett Adelstein's 1-year anniversary tweet?
I did
of
not.
the big incident
I did
at
not.
Hustler
Tell
Casino
me.
Live.
Did she fire it off? I really didn't. I'm off. I haven't seen it.
Okay, so he tweeted something to the effect of, today is the 1-year anniversary. I'm going to get justice. People have been trying to sue me. I know what happened, and, you know, they're going to get theirs. And all she comes in to reply in the Twitter thread is, happy anniversary, with like a celebratory emoji. Basically pwned him in the Twitter streets. It was so strong.
Wow.
So strong.
I didn't see it. I did have her actually talked to her recently as well on podcast, and she was a guest here and got a little more insight. It had that thing is like a blur. I mean, I don't know. There's been a lot of talk about it. We don't need to go there. I just would say the fact that Perkins, Joey, there was like the bounty, a large bounty as well put out there, like, and nothing ever came. I mean, I don't know, Ali. We're talking 9th place money bounties, people that, you know, it's hard to keep a secret. Someone might just come forward and have a little bit of info for $250,000. I don't know. That whole thing is so crazy though. That is really like that's going to live on for a long time in poker history. That whole situation. Ivy was at the table too, right? I mean, it was like, there was big names. It was crazy. That money given back. There was like what she said at the time, but then like all the other stuff. I just, you know, I don't know. The whole thing is just kind of wild, but hey, it happened. And again, I don't know. Did you follow it? Were you in it? Were you like day to day on it? Or did you kind of just poke in and get the cliff notes, or were you immersed?
I'll tell you what, I watched it happen live, and I was on my way to go play mixed games at Resorts World here in Las Vegas. And I walked up to the two tables. There's my game, and there's a 300-600 that plays right next door. And I walked up and I said, you guys, I just saw the most ridiculous hand in the history of televised poker. Everybody rolled their eyes because it's like, whatever, so be it. Little did anyone know that that would be the hand that broke the internet and basically dominated conversation for weeks afterwards. And, you know, as it evolved, everybody was like, Ali walked in and knew exactly that something was wrong. But, you know, I don't know that we'll ever get an answer in terms of, you know, concrete, what's what, you know. Listen, you can spin your wheels all you want.
Nothing else, the awareness is there, right? It's important, whether you're in a home game, whether you're in a casino, whether you're playing online, you got to be alert. You got to be aware of possibilities. You got to, you know, you be a little skeptical, and you just got to, you got to understand as well, when people are playing for real money, there is always a possibility for,
but Jeff, you know what? I think that gives us a really, you know, nice opportunity as we see the ace-8 for Yagin out flopping this 6-7 suited, to talk about the lengths to which the team at GG go to ensure the integrity of the game. They care deeply about it. I've been to the offices in South Korea. I don't know about you. I've seen the teams that are actually involved and working diligently, constantly keeping an ear to the street, obviously having ambassadors who are as sharp as the likes of Jason Kuhn and Daniel Negreanu out there, you know, Jason on the Integrity Council for the World Series of Poker, and always keeping an eye on what, if any, new sorts of loopholes or avenues or attempts people might be making to compromise the integrity of the game. They're a step ahead of it, and they're very much ensuring that when you're playing for something like $2.8 million, you're doing so on the square. So it's nice to be a part of a team in an organization that does as much as these guys do to that effect. You know, otherwise, you know, I think I speak for the two of us, we wouldn't have hitched our wagons. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's well said. I actually just did go last month to the offices in Korea as well. So that was pretty cool to see. I mean, it's a big operation, you know, 400 employees, multiple, it's a huge building. And as you said, security, there's a huge section of that really does go the distance, because there's a lot going on, man. AI, technology, this, that, and the other. You want to be ahead of it, because there is stuff happening everywhere. And
yeah,
well said.
And by the way, just because a lot of times people go, well, what is it? What is it? You know, in order to kind of counteract the bad actors, you can't necessarily reveal what you're doing, because then obviously you're revealing your playbook and they can maybe do things to get around it. So just because discussions aren't being had publicly or openly by the organization about exactly what it is going on, doesn't mean that they're not doing anything. They very much are. And obviously they're fighting a good fight. as is
Yeah, absolutely.
Ramiro
And also
Ezekiel.
that's easy to say. And like people, oh, well, but you see it, there's accounts removed. They list stuff like there's actually things happening. It's not just random guessing, and they're doing that. And it does cost the site money, right? It does to actually remove people to do that. Like they're doing their best. And, I think in general, the security is good, getting better everywhere, and people are sharing and talking about stuff. And yeah, again, poker's in a great space, the great place with online and live. We're seeing that as we see the numbers, this type of record. This has got to be a record field. I think 28 to 26 million, it's got to be. I think the
and
20
by the
million,
way,
I remember hit a few years ago, and that was the biggest, and there's been some in that neighborhood. So this is very,
and you're
very
seeing
big
you're seeing the online sites and the live tournament circuits coming together nicely in order to prevent the people who might be very credibly accused of being bad actors in the online space not being given the opportunity as a result to come in and play live. Now, it's not to say that they're doing anything untoward when they're playing live events, as we see a raise and take it there for Ezekiel, because obviously the challenge is, much greater to get away with something live. But to deny people the opportunity who aren't upstanding citizens of this community, that it must be said, by and large, is comprised of good people playing on the square, I think is a really good, solid deterrent to people letting greed get the better of them. And I, for one, think, just like you do, that the state of poker right now online is in a better place than it's been in a very long time. And it was very wounded on the back end of Black Friday, obviously, and of course, ultimate bet scandals and things like that. And we don't want to create any paranoia or anything like that in the community. Obviously, the endorsement is there by thousands of 6,000 plus people playing in this one for 5,000 ahead, Jeff. You're not doing that unless you're resting assured that everything is kosher. So we're in a good place.
Absolutely. And we did see actually on that Ezekiel all in with ace king. It was off a light open from Bert under the gun +1, I think. So he did pick up a few extra chips hanging in there. It's kind of a game of chicken right now. Again, all these stacks, like between 40 million and 20 million right now, 4 stacks. And then Yagan just a little bit ahead of the curve, but Bert is in a really good place. And actually, if you think of a key hand in this final table, for me, it's Eric with king 3 off. That decision to barrel the turn, barrel the river, and now here he is, Ali, 6-handed, as not really separated. He's sort of in the thick of a dogfight where he was at the time, he had 100 and 100 million. And again, I think that was a interesting decision to go for it. And let's see how it works out. But at the moment, if he gets second or sixth, that's a pretty big difference in money, for example. So that see how that pans out. But he is still in it and sitting fine, just sort of like right in the scuff, the middle of the fight. So let's see how that works out. That hand stood out for me.
Raise and take it there for Eric. I touched on some of the Dutch names that came before him and ended on Lex Velhuis, but not to be overlooked, the likes of Tom Vogelsang, Toon Mulder, and of course Kevin Pake, who have been cobbling and plying their trade up in the nosebleed stakes as part of the Dutch delegation. Lots of talent coming out of that corner of the world. The Austrians, of course, also always making a nice showing.
Yeah, those guys you just mentioned too, just kind of have fun. They style, they bring some flair, some flash, and again, sort of at the top of the craft, playing the high rollers, as you mentioned, across the world. And again, yeah, Dutch definitely they got some strong players. Not a huge country, but the quality is there for poker. Definitely something that stands out as one of the stronger countries, or at least has some of the stronger players in there. But Europe got a nice representation there at this final table, as we mentioned earlier, the free roll, the continental free roll. So you are sweating at home, not just the 2 giveaways we have active for you, but there is that continental free roll, depending if you have a GG active account, which region you get tied to, 4 regions, and a free roll if one of the players from your region does win. I think there's still, are we all 4 regions active, or at least 3? I see Asia, I see the Americas, there's Europe, and then I'm not sure on the other one.
Mediterranean, which encompasses Africa, and no, I don't think Mediterranean is still drawing live in this one.
They might have lost because there's only 1 or 2 for the others, 5 for Europe. But as it is, we have got Bert is in an absolutely sweet position in here with ace 10 off for this stack. Probably just a shove, right? Doesn't really make sense to limp. I guess he's almost inducing with this particular hand, but also inviting a hand like this to come in. I actually wonder, in my mind, I would think the shove. You could also get called by worse there. with like ace, a weaker ace maybe, but he knows what he's doing. I'm not going to question him. He throws it up. He takes down the pot, and you see how tight Queen Jack doesn't even call basically the min raise there.
No, and I mean, again, everything centers around the fact that all eyes are focused on Ramiro and his fate. King 3 not going to be the one for him, obviously, but he has whittled himself down now. As you see the 1.53 million
Ali.
blind level.
Ali,
oh my gosh.
Head, Ali. He just said, Ali, that's exactly why he's like a contrarian. He picks up a pivotal pot. I'm with you. I don't think that's a consideration, but look at this. Sneaks it through, and that puts him in a different section here. And ace 9 actually, he's going to get 2 through. It looks like he's going to pick up 6 million here. And,
yeah,
and
if King 3 is good enough, ace 9 certainly is, even though it's a seat earlier in position. And again, back-to-back pickups of the blinds and antes, 2 full orbits worth of extra grains of sand in the hourglass. These are such important pickups, and it's so deflating to Ezekiel.
With Ezekiel and Alexander, just like that. And yeah, might be listening to Eminem, you know, what's that, the one shot, he just took his moment, took it with the King 3 off, YOLO, rips it in, gets it through, and now he is in the mix.
But look at this, 2 threes, and he's going to be facing an open from Timoshenko here, and it's going to be for the full amount. Queen 10 and deuce 6 out of there, and the pocket threes aren't trying to spin the wheel. So,
yeah.
What a battle we have on our hands. By the way, snake draft implications right now, Jeff. I've got 3, you've got 3. For me, it's Stevens, Timoshenko, and Kleinman in succession. And then for you, of course, you've got 2nd and 3rd in chips, Yagen Lee, Eric Bacher, and then the short stack of Ramiro, which has been very resilient so far. Now, pocket kings against ace king.
Wow,
this is very big in
ace
terms of tournament implications.
I don't even want to wish. This is quite a setup hand. 6-handed to the turn, diamond covered for
Wait a minute.
88%.
Surely it can't be there.
No, it wouldn't. They can't do that.
Is that a no-sider? Is it a no-sider? Oh my gosh.
It looked like it. It looked like it might be, but it's not. It is a knockout for our friend. Bert is on officially 223. That is a lot of chips. And Ali, you can start making your resis, because this
Don't you ride the broom on me, gross. I've seen things happen. Look at Yagen Lee, 55 million. He could double through and make this a meal that isn't going to be paid for
I'm
by
not trying
you.
to jinx
So
you,
let's
but that was a
just
big pot and a big cooler, and everyone excited who is remaining, because they are guaranteed $835,000, and one of the biggest stacks is out. And there it is. We're talking the King 3 off. Maybe it plays the same. Maybe he's got more chips. Maybe the hand's all different. Doesn't matter. But he does not. He was in commanding 2nd, and he is going to get 6th place, Ali. Maybe
it's so gross, man, because Bacher is thinking to himself, whatever you do, don't get me into a spot against Stevens. And ultimately, wouldn't you know it, that's the man who ends up waking up with a hand that he gets his chips in with ace king, runs into the 2 kings. He's blocking aces, he's blocking kings, and of course the cooler special there, and everybody else enjoying that massive pay jump, $217,000, roughly $835 on lockup. Talk about the next pay jump though, Jeff. We're at 1.128. We're talking about 280,000, 290,000 plus. How about that?
Man, pay jumps. That's a super high roller buy-in right there. Just ready for you right there to enter, take a shot. And Bert is on officially runaway now. He's got them right where he wants them. He can really first in do a lot of damage. People are going to start shrinking up. He has got them in he's got him in a bad position right now. 6-2 suited. Look at this. Just it's like he's going to see a lot of that. Getting walks with 6 high, just having himself a day. 5 left. I'm going to cue the giveaway, guys. Hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying the stream. That's the first part of the giveaway. The second will be a keyword, and then we'll pick a winner here at the end of the show. But at the moment, we are still 5-handed, and there it is. Just full blown shove on the big blind. 9-7 off. So Bert is a big favorite.
Taking a mallet to the boys right now, like OG Donkey Kong. You remember the hammer? You just run around and just bash barrels.
Yeah, having a star in Mario Kart. Just going absolute, can't do much wrong. King, Queen. Ramiro, though, understands what's happening and probably going to be ripping here to take control of a spot. First in, just so powerful. Good hand to do it, right? King, Queen, blocking all kinds of good stuff and a decent semi-bluff hand. That is, what is Ace Jack off going to do? in the big blind there,
Fives.
the small blind. It's not a great spot. And this is a little tougher, a little more people to contest with, but still only 11 blinds. And Ramiro is showing us a little bit of what his game is like. He is willing to be first in and pick up pots. The king 3 off stands out as a moment that he seized. And he now is in a very different position, sort of top 3 playing around when the 2 others are very short.
Oh, so my gosh. Ramiro's heating up here, Jeff.
Big. Oh, wow. I mean, this is like one you could almost wonder to shove, right? Like it's sort of in that spot, I guess, because Yagan is 43, but you know, this is a, like if he shoves, I guess Ramiro's still calling, but this is.
Yeah, of course. But let's see what Ramiro wants to do in the face of effectively a min-raise. He's going to pile in there again. Yeah. So really surging right now is Ramiro, and it couldn't have come at a better time as he now leaves Ezekiel, the man upon whom all the eyes are focused. He was getting uncomfortable. Why is everybody staring at me? Chip up to 46 million, and now the eyes turn elsewhere to the neighboring nation of Argentina.
Yeah, Argentina, Jack Queen off under the gun, first in. It would actually work for 4 blinds here if he could get it through. And I think he's got to be considering it at the same time. Alexander,
I do too.
Short, but does he really want to hit the blinds with 13, go to 10, go to 8.5? He knows he's not. I think he's got to go for it, right?
Yeah. And he's going to love to see this.
Good shove there. Not everyone's going to make that, but I think you got to do it.
Yeah, at this point, you just cannot let yourself bleed out any further. And now this will be interesting for Timoshenko when presumably it gets folded back around to him. Let's see, though. Maybe Stevens with a tickler. No?
I'm a little bit shocked he doesn't shove there, to be honest. Like, I just feel like, I guess the 5-4, just no high card, nothing. But I just feel like you're going to, these 2 stacks don't want to call off here. I'm a little surprised by that. And this is actually almost a mirror situation with the Queen 10, Queen 9 suited, Yagan versus Ramiro. So Queen 10 this time pipped behind, not ahead, a little less chips even too, which makes it more likely kind of got a call. He does.
Oh my gosh.
He is behind.
Ezekiel makes the call here, 10, Jeff, and he's dominated. Trouble. Last time, the Queen 10, Queen 9 chopped it, and that could... No, it can't. No matter what the kicker's going to play, unless, of course, the 10 was spiked by Ezekiel. Well, the good news for him, of course, is that he had... he had Alexander covered there.
The chips are in the middle here. King 3, it's been a very... prevalent hand, important hand, shove, important bluff today. King 3 now going to actually get it in ahead for a chance to be kind of not like, I mean, would have some chips, right? 8.7 million still in the game if he can hold here.
Let's see.
Ooh,
so far so good. Stays that way.
Nice turn for himself.
Anything but a 7, 8, or a 9. Oh,
he's got the
9. Okay. Oof.
Yeah.
Overlooked the fact that he makes the straight as well.
He is in the game.
I freaked out.
In the game. And this is the guy's just not ready to go away. He is fighting. And here we go. Bert is now officially going for it. And this is the power of this play is this hand exactly right here. What does Yagan and Alexander do with the ace king off, with the ace queen suited, with the 9s? You know, the guy's got 8 million. Yep. I mean, this is textbook.
Yeah, the ace-queen suited, look, Timoshenko knows that hand so often is going to have Stevens' open range crushed, but he's looking over at Ezekiel, he's looking over at the gap between 5th and 4th, and he's saying, my job right now is to play in accordance with this ICM. Now he's able to open the pot with an ace-10 for a rip.
Wow.
Such a better feeling.
I'm curious on that. I get it. I like it, but it's also that's high risk there with the guy with 7 million and also the other stack similar. But to be fair,
but wouldn't you rather be open ripping?
Now you're in a
wouldn't you
three-way
rather
battle.
be open ripping ace 10, Jeff, than calling off with ace queen suited?
Just different shot. I mean, literally can't illustrate the power of first in, right? That's literally a textbook sort of situation. And here we go. I mean, he's calling for a blind and a half, king 10 5s. We're going to have a flip for a knockout potentially, or to put us back at 5-handed. So 5's king 10, gut shot is on the flop. Got to fade 10 outs twice. 5 is a key card that shrinks it to 4 out one time. Can he fade? It is not pain. And our friend, I'm telling you, man, he's resilient. This guy has got like a cat. He is just not ready to go. He's got lives. Blinds are up. He's in the big blind. Ooh, big pay jumps. We're sweating for the Millie, the 7-figure club, man. A 7-figure online score is up for grabs. The next spot right now.
We're talking about $293,000 in pay difference between 5th and 4th. And that definitely helps to inform us as to why we're seeing some of the things that we're seeing. Problems here for Stevens. And he does rip. Yagin, of course, is going to make this call. And in great shape is the ace-king.
You say, of course, I think you're right, but it's like, you hate it. You just hate to risk it, but you gotta. And now it's everyone fading, him versus the world. It looks scary. Fades the, oh my goodness, picks up more outs, Ali.
5 or a 7.
To the river. Can he fade it? It's
4-sider, we're safe.
7 or a 5, and that is Yagin. Yagin Das, I'm going to call my man. He's going to get me some dessert. I think Yagin's going to be the one to take this home for me for the dinner, for the fans. 50 or 100 on the line. So there's a lot to play for. 5 left giveaway. We'll queue up 4 left, 50 or 100, and there's 6-8 off, Ali. Is this
look at Stevens? He just recognizes right now it is only Ezekiel who rates to be the man that's going to make a call, unless absolute top of range, the likes of an ace king or something like that is what people wake up with. Yeah, it feels out of line.
Let me ask you this: does Yagin call with ace king off now for that in that last hand?
Ooh, with this many chips, man. I mean, if he's playing to win, you know, but it just feels like 290 some odd thousand. I don't know.
It's actually a little bit. I mean, look, it's Bert is now. Oh wow, he's gonna. This is interesting. Ramiro's been showing us shoves in these spots. Bert. Oh, wow. Wow. Bert would have shoved. And now, I mean, this is actually, Alexander showed us a tight fold with ace queen of clubs in a similar spot. I mean, this is, you got the guy with 11 million, Ali, on your left in the big blind next hand to join your 7-figure score. He just says it's too much hand. It's too much hand. Huge moment. A lot of chips. Ace queen suited. King
oh,
9
my
suited,
gosh.
Nightmare start to the situation. 9 on the flop. Now needs a 6 out or 2 to come. 13%. Ace queen, or he is.
It's paint. It's paint. Oh, it's the jack.
Queen,
you've doubled through me twice, Gross.
Wow. Ramiro, how do you win Super Millions? How do you win titles? You push it in, you show aggression, you take chances, and he is now in a different conversation in tied for what is second all of a sudden. And you got 2 guys on, I mean, look at Yagin. Yeah, you look over, guys got 2 blinds. You're talking about top 3 get $1.5 million. There's 2 players with less than 2 blinds. I got to cue the giveaway, Ali. This could be over in 3 hands. I mean, this is absolute craziness. 3 deuce suited, ripping it in. People, King 5 has to fold. I mean, this
Timoshenko's dominating, by the way, right now, just for the record.
This is chaos. King 5 suited folds. So profitable hand for Bert. Now 3 deuce, 4 deuce, going to chop a lot. 3 deuces, flushes. It looks like a chop. I mean, what is happening? Spade draw. It's actually an important pot to get the extra chips.
Oh, and he hits the spade.
How about that? He is in. I mean, dude, an absolute nightmare for Ezekiel. They're now tied. This is crazy. I'm queuing the giveaway.
This is crazy.
This is gonna be a $50 or $100 thing, and this is now Bert going to town. The deuces, of course, can't call. Oh my man, this is a wild finish right here.
It sure is, as the shorties really have been resilient. Interesting, though, that Timoshenko folded the ace-queen to the guy who you know is a lot more out of line in Stevens, and then ended up calling it off against Ramiro on the button, who is going to be a bit less out of line. And obviously, he was right. He had the best hand, but the variance got the best of him with the King 9. Now he finds himself on the struggle bus with $6.5 million right now.
Wow. All right, well, in a second, I'm going to cue the giveaway. It's going to either be a $50 or $100 giveaway, depending if one of Ali's players win for 50 or mine for 100. That's how we're going to break it up. So you guys have a little sweat here. And the keyword is going to be GGPoker space Ali space insert your GGPoker username. So that is officially a giveaway. That is live. You got to hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the show only, of course. 4,000 watching right now. And here he goes, raising. And Alexander, if he folds, he is because now the player's got to be all in before he's all in. So actually, yeah, he's all in with 3 high. Did he just get a 7-figure up to 293K pay jump 10-6 versus deuce 3, and he can fold? Wow, this is wild. 2-3. This is a sweat here. 10-6 deuce 3.
Wheel draw.
Gut shot. The wheel draw is available. 2-3.
Oh, he could chop here. Ace king 4.
Wow.
Deuce 3 5 for the win.
Oh,
and he hits the 3.
The man, the Messi magic. Argentina it's just that year. It's that time. It's that. I mean, what a genius fold. He gets the guy in with 3-2 all in the big blind. He hits a 3 on the river. That is dramatic. That is dramatic. And he's all in now. Queen 10, Jack 5 ahead to keep going. He's just runner is needed, and he's still in the game potential. That's a boat. That is a top full house nuts on the turn. That is going to continue for our friend. The chaos is here, and Bert is loving it. Bert just gets to go crazy here. If you're Ramiro, you fold kings for a shove for 60 mil here. This is the easiest shove of Bart's life. Actually, he's got such a good hand. He almost doesn't have to shove. This is we haven't seen this on GG Millions all year. This has been a wild thing. 10-7, he just does the math. He puts it in, taking his chance. He's behind. Oh my goodness. He needs a 10 or a 7 with one card to come, or we are going to see four-handed poker. Okay.
Nope.
It was too much, Ali. It was time.
Yeah.
Someone had to bow out. That was too much action right there. GG, golfer claps, 865. Every player has got $1 million plus coming their way right now.
835,000. Wow. The fifth place money going to the Russian Timoshenko as it's 2-on-2 between us now. Jeff, obviously you've got those middling stacks. I've got the shorty and the big stack. As we see Ramiro thinking it over, you were asking whether or not he would, really batten down the hatches. And let's see whether or not Stevens wants to just abuse here. He can just rip, and it would have to be such a trappy hand.
I like the non-rip, right? Because it's like a little too much chips to just rip it in case you get trapped. At the same time, is Ramiro willing to limp jam King Jack off? Probably. Wow, just calls. Woo.
And hits.
Some real poker going on here.
If you're Stevens, you got to shut it down now, especially with some showdown value. I think he's much more incentivized to shut it down. As you can see, Ramiro would love to see Stevens put something out there. Oh, I need to see a check back from Bert here so often. Oh, man, just 5.2. Of course he's going to get called.
Yeah, Ramiro willing to play some poker here. At the same token, there's so many draws. It's like tough because do you just close your eyes and call, or do you want to just try to take it here? Wow.
Oh, now, it's funny. The little clicky check raise there, I thought maybe he would do that. It's an interesting idea. And just clear out any of the dust. But, King Jack, that was a lot of hand. I don't know if we needed to do that, but maybe he didn't want to face that big barrel on the river.
I mean, it shows you his class, though. He's, we're all in here. 15 million available. Big moment, too, to get three-handed. Huge pay jumps. Jack 10, 7, 4. Pair. Jack 10 in the lead. Needs a 4 and a 4 only on the river, or else we're still going to be four-handed. A lot of fours. Not a 4. And we are still four-handed. 15 million, though, has work cut out. Yagin and Ramiro. Look at Ramiro, though. Getting a little bit creative. We get to see it. We really did he wasn't so active, and then all of a sudden he just started going wild, short-handed, picking his spots, got the King 3. I think that was the play of the tournament. That really put him in a different conversation. He got back in the game, and then he just took over. And here, King, Queen, Ace 7 suited. A lot of hand. Risk premium. You're so short. I think you got to
go with this. You got to go with this.
You're going to be not behind most of the time.
Right.
And it's a good hand, and you're just flipping or whatever. And here in this,
and
spot,
look, nobody else is going to go broke before you. You have to take your fate into your own hands here.
36 million all of a sudden up for grabs. King Queen on the flop needs a gutter. Fade a gutter. Can he do it? Fade the gutter and be in the mix.
Anything but a four-sider. There it is.
Clean.
I like this, by the way, from my squad. Some balance transfers from Stevens over to Kleiman in order to keep things interesting for me in terms of this dinner bet we got.
Yeah. It's the 2 and 2. The chips are stacked, but it's wide open. It is wide open. And I mean, man, what a play. Advanced play by Alexander. Puts him in the big blind with 3 deuce off. He hits a 3 on the river. Likely his first 7-figure score of his career. That's about as dramatic as you get. He hits it on the river, and then now he's back in, man. I mean, he's in there. He's got 30. He's got almost 10 blinds.
Yeah.
10 blinds on the dot.
A lot more than he had moments ago as he outlasted Timoshenko for the 7-figure collection. And the difference between fourth and third, we haven't touched on it yet. We're talking about almost $400,000, Jeff. How about it? Ace 3, jam. He's still the short stack. is Ezekiel. He knows that Stevens is going to be doing this with a wide variety of hands. Does he want to embrace the variance? The answer is no. And in all likelihood, it would have been a chop pot anyhow, so really no harm, no foul. As now A7 suited for Yagin, he could get curious in the face of a rip.
I like the fold actually with the ace 2 soft in that spot. I think that with his stack and the situation and how crazy it is right now, I think that's actually a good play because he sees Bert's, slinging chips around. There's going to be some all.
What about this? What about this? You want your man to make this call with A7 suited, looking up at Ezekiel's stack? 400,000 to pay jump? You can see he's tanking, man.
I'm trying to think what I don't even know what I guess I would. This is so close, man. So close. I actually wonder. I think ICM would say fold probably.
I feel like this is a guy that plays for the win, Jeff. I really do. When you look at that 7.1 million that he's got, that's not a dude who's laddering, right? We're not talking about an Alan Kessler out here. We're talking about a guy that goes for the W. I thought he was going to maybe click call there.
I think it's so close. It's got to be like on the cusp. I'm sure ICM says fold, but yeah, to your point about him, I think he's like, that hurts him.
Oh, look at this. Even eights into the muck.
Wow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure A7 suit is a genius fold, but it's close. And he actually was dominating him, which is painful too. He had 7-8 off. But that's the thing, even in that spot, like, do you want to roll that with that equity for that type of pay jump when you don't have to be the first one on the block? I mean, look at it. 4 million is the big blind. All of a sudden, he's got 6 blinds. We're
talking about $400,000 in pay jump. Would you play a cash game pot for $400,000 where a guy rips on you with A7 suited? I mean, granted, there's the upside of then doubling and then putting yourself in a better position to experience an even bigger payout. But, just trying to distill it, simplify it,
Listen, Ali, the answer is no. I got 2 kids, a newborn, and I'm folding. I'm sorry.
Congrats, by the way, on number 2, my friend.
I'm out. That's a lot.
Oh my gosh, look at this. 2 kings and ace 10 suited. Look at this. Now, wow. Stevens.
Small 3-bet from Bert. 18, 6-17, click it. I like a click. I think he might do it.
But doesn't the click? Oh, yeah. But the click looks suspect. And note that the ace-10 suited gets out of there dying for Ramiro to somehow find his way into this one. Another 10 million to call.
This is frustrating for Ramiro because this guy is going to do this with like ace deuce off or something, like he's going to do it. So like, you kind of hate when he actually does play back. You're like, man. And also he actually has a bit of fold equity. It'd be so sick if he rips it and he's just against the absolute worst hand, but good fold. And Bert is officially at 250 million and ace 8 off now. Look at this. He's folding eights, he's pulling ace off. And now, wow, this is a clinic at the moment.
Have you ever gone on Instagram and seen these videos of bulldogs knocking over trash cans? No. You ever seen this? For some reason, they hate trash cans. And it's just a video of a bulldog. Every time he sees a trash can, he just runs up and just punks it. But you just bulldozes the thing. That's exactly what I'm staring at here with Stevens. But
it's crazy, though. Like, I think part of it is because so much play in this tournament, we were able to see deeper poker and allowed for like a stack to emerge as the big chip leader. But like a lot of the time in the GGMillions, we don't really see. It's very rare we see someone this much separation with 4, 5, 6 players left. So we are getting to see this take place, and he's kind of whittling them all down, right? They're all getting kind of so short where it's a game of chicken. And Yagin with a misstep here, he's going to step right into it, and Ramiro will not be relinquishing this hand. He actually,
of course not.
I mean, man, but at the same, you say it is actually close. I think it's too much hand. It's four hand.
Do we flat? No, okay.
Yeah, I don't think he can, but Yagin actually is sort of.
Man, that's a lot of his stack he stuck out there, Jeff.
Yeah, he made
he can't queen high. You can't. He's probably regretting making it 4x, is my guess.
Right. Yeah, make it 10 million or 9.5.
He just didn't. He didn't want Stevens to get out there and pile. You know what I mean? The sizing was designed to prevent Bert from leaning on him, and yet it is Ramiro that woke up with the hand in position. And we know that Ramiro's not going to be doing this light. We know Queen Jack is no good. Maybe it's even dominated.
The sick part is if he folds, he's in the big blind next hand eating 4 million. So he's now tied with Ezekiel.
But he's not 4 million. He's eating 8 million. Don't forget the big blind Annie.
Yeah, this is actually he put it in. He ripped it. Yep. This Queen Jack to Ace King live 3-1 Ace King favorite. Turn is
the Queen burger.
Oh my, Ramiro needs help on the river.
Jack King or Ace. So do it for the Ace King. Ooh, no cider.
No.
So a little balance transfer for you, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I gotta say, Ramiro, I think with the experience, I gotta want him driving to the finish line with the 80. But hey, Yagin's played well. He's been aggressive. And here's a look at the Continental leaderboard. You have a sweat at. Let's take a look. Who's in there still? You gotta. There's a few continents available. 5-4 off in a shove. Yagin with the ace-8 off has to fold. Ramiro's got 4 million left, and this has been wild.
America.
Actually, it's not big blind anymore. They each ante the same.
Oh, forgive me. Okay, so
yeah, because
it's the Americas.
It's actually that was like it was close for him there to call off or not. I actually think he had to.
This isn't close though, as Ramiro is thinking to himself, why when I have no chips do I have to wake up with these two kings?
It's Let's actually see if he can hold. Though. I mean, Ezekiel's got 12 million. I mean, they're going to be tied.
Club coverage. It's over on the turn.
Lock it up, top set, and now Bert gets to still keep leveraging. Yagin is just closing his eyes, auto fold, maybe folds aces. I mean, at these two stacks, this amount of money, like it is just like absolute crazy situation. Ace-6, and it looks like he's just going to get a walk, I guess.
Well, let's see. King nine's a decent amount of hand here.
This is a brave open, I'll tell you, if he does it.
Oh, he did it with Queen Jack and then called off. I don't know that I loved it, but obviously having committed the 16 million with a pre-flop sizing that was designed to keep Stevens at bay, he ran into the Ace King. No justice for Ramiro, of course. Was drawing live to the Jack King or Ace, and you see the King 9 thought about it, but just looks up at those two dusty stacks and the pay jump and says, "I'm chilling." Sidelines. 10 deuce, the Doyle. Let's see. Dominated. I think this ace. I mean, we saw him fold the ace-3, I think it was earlier. Maybe it was an ace-deuce.
If the player will be all in by through the blinds or not. That's the math. So if he is all in before, if he can fold, and then Ramiro has to take the 4 plus the ante plus the small blind. So I don't think he's all in. Ramiro will not be all in before, I think, because if Ramiro folds, it's 4-2 in the big blind and the ante for each. Oh, maybe it is with the ante each hand. Oh yeah, I think he will hit it. It's going to be so close, but it won't matter because Ramiro's going to be all in here and against jacks. Wow.
Yep, and Yagin's probably going to finish what he started. I don't think Ezekiel wants anything to do with this pot. He's already folded multiple baby aces, and now let's see if there's any justice in this deck for Ramiro. He does have the gutter. King or the 10 are clean. 9 is no help. Squeeze you very much. Doesn't look like it's there. 2 across club, and it's going to be adios.
Ezekiel is going to ladder to 1.5 and still in. GG Ramiro, well played. Another nice score to your GG resume. That's a lot of earnings, and it is a all in essentially in the big blind next hand before we might go to a heads up. I mean, Ezekiel is literally all in the big blind with this 4 million plus ante this hand. So 10 deuce 5-9 has the best hand. He just doesn't want to go away. Could win this.
He has to call again. Obviously. The 10 deuce offsuit. He knows it. He's already gotten the $400,000 ladder, by the way. So, you know, regardless of outcome, once he clicks call over here, this is going to be a delightful result. As the 1.5 is on lockup, 535,000, by the way, the next pay ladders. You see 10 high is actually good. Got to fade the gutter, a 5 or a 9.
Uh-oh.
So far, so
sweat,
good.
7 sweat, a lot of sweat. Bang. 10 high, strong.
10 high with the double, baby.
That is quite a hold on that turn card. King Jack.
Oh, he's got King Jack here.
Yeah, he's going to chop up some big blind money most likely. Looks like 4 plus 5 pipe 5. Chip up will be around 10 million if he can not get 4 flushed.
By the way, I know it's a subtle nuance, but I like the fact that he's taking his time before he makes this call, regardless of whether or not the spot is close, because maybe, just maybe, Yagin gives you a shot at a triple up behind.
Yeah, so 50-50. No one has a club. That's actually a pickup.
Chop.
He's back in at a little bit more room, slightly, still very short. I mean, 500,000 and 35K? 535K pay jump. I mean, that is insane right now.
You think Yagin tries to get away with a limp here? Nah.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue it, but he just wants to get heads up, man. He's just praying for a smooth exit for his friend. And this time, 2-3, not fun to be dealt in. To be fair, he doubled with the 3 on the river, deuce 3 off before when it was like 5-handed. So actually quite a ladder for our friend here at that 3 on the river. He's getting at least like 700K more. It's pretty crazy. Doing the math, does he want to sit out or does he just go for it here with so much of his chips in a likely rise?
This is such a bad hand, Jeff.
2023 Ali, he hit the 2-3 on the river last time, but yeah, okay, good. Yeah,
the point, diaper.
That's Queen 3, 10-9.
Even the 8 deuce offsuit, Rip City here. It's just so amazing, the setup for Stevens to accumulate as Yagin's getting hacked away at here as he awaits Ezekiel's fate. He's like, buddy, go away. Now, this is interesting. 2 10s.
Whoa.
How sick is the ICM pressure?
Crazy scenario. I mean, is it shove or
min raise?
No,
min raise?
You can't min raise. I think
what are you doing then?
He's gonna rip on you with it. Like literally, he'll rip anything. I think you just. I mean, this is Ali. What do you? I don't even know. I'm thinking of myself what I would do. This is actually a funny situation. I mean, shoving seems insane. Folding seems more insane.
I think shoving is more insane than folding. I think you look up at 3.8 million with the blinds at 2 and 4, big blind coming around to Ezekiel next hand, that shoving is more insane than folding.
He's using some chess clock, rightfully so. This is, you got to think, what does pick up 5.5 million do for you versus what does 500 grand do for you?
Everybody at home, that is perhaps the clearest illustration of ICM that we've seen thus far at this final table right there. Open folding the 2 10s. Now, 5s. Stevens, blockers to the 6-4. 6 or a 5 needed for Ezekiel. And that'll do it. And note the $500,000 Yagin just picked up, worry-free, courtesy of open folding the 2 10s, Jeff, ICM. Now then, 300,000, or 300 million, sorry, roughly, for our man in the chip lead, Bert Stevens, basically wire to wire. As we see the heads-up confrontation taking place, you've got Yagin playing for the Asian delegation, the Europeans in the continental free roll sweat as well, as the Americas are vanquished. And the joint, no waiting for Stevens. Unfortunately, the Jack 3, nothing on the stovetop here.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, that's just such a sick feeling not to get at least one street.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing sick going on over there with Bert and what he's got going on. And he is about to call off with a dominating position. 3s to ace deuce for the win. Can he hold to be the champion of the WSOP?
Oh my gosh, the diamond draw right away.
What a sweat.
Oh, the ace comes off. So now it's 3 only.
He's got a 1 out on the river. Doesn't hit it, and we have got a ball game, baby. And I love Bert. I want him to win. You know, I know him. I don't know Yagin, but like I also know you got expensive taste.
Oh my God! Again,
a lot happening here. We got a new game. This could be holy shit, Ali. Excuse my French. This is a absolutely we could just see a 2x flip in the chip lead. Right?
I don't. Hang on. Let's everybody relax here. We're talking about $730,000. The difference between second and first, Jeff. I don't know that these 6s are ready to go. For 730 dimes? Oh my gosh.
It's in there. It's a flip, Ali, to be chip leader. Yagin out of nowhere. Ace, queen, 6s. Clean flop. Bert Stevens in the lead. Turn
no counterfeit
clean.
Card.
Oh my goodness. He needs an ace or a queen, or you have a new WSOP champion online. It is not anything. It's a win. It's a win for Bert Stevens. Congrats to the man. He's on Twitch. He's streaming, dreaming, Hakeemin. What a moment. What an absolute moment. Bert Stevens, congratulations. Also has been on the show here. He has done it. He's your champion in $2,700,783. Ali, talk to me. What just happened? That was crazy. That was a wild final table.
What just happened is we observed Yagin Lee make the absolute most of what he was given. Extreme discipline, the 2 10s illustrating the ICM oh so well. Props to this man, by the way, Jeff. He really, other than the Queen Jack, where he opened to 16 million and then ended up calling off with the worst of it, I don't know that I can circle anything that he did here at this FT which made me wonder This was just clean fighting for him. He did what he was supposed to do, and he was rewarded oh so handsomely with an over $2 million payout, $2,059,000 to be specific. But again, the goats, the chickens, the cows, I mean, the fertilizer budget, everyone's going to be eating well on the Stevens farm, no doubt about it. By the way, maybe, just maybe, we do dinner over at Stevens farm. A fresh glass of goat milk, perhaps some nice, lovely, fresh-made cheese.
Wow.
We won't do any meat.
That would be an expensive
I don't want to
like,
slaughter anything. You know what I mean?
Airfare included to the farm for a dinner. I mean, it's on the table. Great guy. I've never met him, so that's definitely something we can talk about. Congrats on your win. Congrats to the $100 winner. Retweet available as well. We're going to sign off. We're going to see you next week, and we have a new champion, WSOP main event, 250 million guaranteed culmination, 33 bracelet events. There'll be more opportunities to win bracelets on GG. And again, Ali, thank you for the time. Great to catch up and see you as always. What a fun final table. One for the memory books. We'll see you on the live stop soon, and we'll have a dinner. So thank you for the time, man. Appreciate it.
Great sweat, guys. Hope you enjoyed the coverage. Glad to be a part of it, and we'll do it again soon.